Good morning and welcome to today's live show. We have some new updated daily expected moves, and PPI did come out this morning. First thing we want to do is just show off those, new daily expected moves. 587.91 to the upside, and we do have 574.87 to the downside. Pretty big range for the SPY today. Then we go over to the Qs, and it's even bigger. So about 30% implied volatility for the day. Pretty important to pay attention to the Qs. 513.27 to the upside, coming in right at a breakdown area, and then 497.85, which actually could be considered pretty damn important because that used to be one of our zones. So we're paying attention to it. Right now, it looks like we're heading in that upward direction. We're looking if the 2-hour can confirm up today. That would be a big deal. The 30-minute, if that wanted to build some structure before we're able to break through that red line, hey, we might do something like this, some kind of little head and shoulders in there. Now, I did want to bring up the data real quick, right? We have a data coming in for the PPI this morning at 0.2, previous being 0.4, consensus in the forecast on that being 0.3, so coming in lower. So yields actually should enjoy that, and we're noticing that the yields are actually starting to see that come off right here, but still holding up at this point. So we're paying attention to it. Notice that the dollar is positive as of right now, so we'll pay attention if that can keep dropping throughout the day. And volatility actually trying to maybe even cross below its 5-day moving average. Now, we have to be aware that this is crossed up. You're testing the 5. We can see some volatility for a moment, but the positioning of the MACD for the 30-minute is leaning towards a lower high at this point. The 2-hour has confirmed down. This is what we will watch in case volatility is starting to take off again, but I really think we are starting to head towards some kind of bottom. Maybe we're going to see something with CPI as well. People do read into CPI a little bit more, so we're going to have another day tomorrow where we need to react, and that's going to be a big deal. So let's pay attention. Looks like we're making a move to the upside, which is something we were really paying attention to, that 587.91 for the SPY. Good morning. Hope you got your coffee ready and you're ready to watch some stock market behavior here and see if we can have any kind of setups. One of the setups we were talking about was Amazon. Amazon with the potential for a double bottom here. Great little move up so far. From confirmation now, you've gone from 218, about 218.37 to 220. Not a bad move there, still below the 5. And the ultimate signal for Amazon is this 2-hour divergence that you need to cross up into positive territory. This will be a good shot to do so. We'll see if we fill a gap or something like that first, but this crossing up would indicate that daily charts have a new positive trend move that can take you above this high and go to the next one, as long as that positivity can continue and you don't see failure at any time with something like CPI. So we'll pay attention to it. Nvidia really liking that as of right now, able to buy back above 135. Very, very good. Got to see if that 2-hour can cross up, and we're going to be aware of lower highs here. I do think if this is going to prove to be a bullish move over time, you still need to get above 141 and kind of dictate that as support. I think that would be very, very important. So that's something I would be paying attention to for Nvidia. Let's go look at Microsoft. Remember, Microsoft has the decent signal here. Not seeing the most upside just yet, 0.3% as of now. Could need to reload in some way, but we do notice that 2-hour divergence is blatantly there. It is blatantly there, saying this daily might end up curling up if all that can confirm. We do see the 30-minute doesn't have the best reversal signals. We don't see any signals down here on the RSI. And yeah, we're leaving a signal line up because some of these stocks do not show anything on the MACD, so sometimes the signal line can help you make a decision. So we can talk about that a little bit as we go forward. Now for this just means I need to be aware that this could reload one more time, right? We could get a 30-minute divergence before this actually wants to head up, but we're also paying attention in case the 2-hour just confirms today for Microsoft. Very interesting there. AMC, the memer, is starting to see a little bit of a bounce here. Something interesting for AMC is, yeah, it's heading down dramatically, and one of my theories was, right here, the AMC short, someone's doing something. They're either, opening those short positions or they are closing short positions. That's kind of what this means. But either way, they are acting right now. And usually as this is coming down, you don't normally see this in a downtrend start to trend up. Usually that is a sign that something fishy might be going on there. So I will be paying attention to AMC because this is very interesting that you have drop, and then down here they've decided to actually start to do some short selling activity. So we're paying attention to it. But that is a signal for AMC that you could actually see some upside soon, right? That is one of the triggers there. GameStop confirming the daily divergence, not a good sign for the stock. Not bearish on it, really. I'm really not. I really wanted to. I'm still going to hold the thing. And by not bearish, I mean I'm not selling anything. But the 2 hour is down across that center line. So if I had an option play, I'd be waiting to see if this 2 hour can whip back to the upside. I think that would be a good thing for the stock. But PPI helping out a lot of things out there. AMD saw a pretty good move here. Pretty good. And we're starting to head to the upside, right? AMD was one of the ones able to hold positive, which was very interesting. So we're going to see if this can lead to some positivity, right? We're still technically holding the divergence points. If we probably spread that out to a 4 hour, it's going to look nice. I'm not going to do that at this moment, but we mainly just want to pay attention to the SPY and how that thing is reacting. All right, guys, hope you guys are ready for a good day of trading. I'm excited. Let me just see here real quick. And bam, there we go. Morning, let's get a TLT. Yeah, we can go look at TLT real quick. So the main thing with TLT that's going on here is just you're trying to make some kind of base on the 30-minute. The 2 hour kind of showing you those divergences there, right? So we're paying attention to it, right? As everyone thinks those yields are going to head higher. Hey, they might actually end up going the other way. So TLT, very interesting, trying to make a stable base here for 30-minute charts, trying to make a stable tapering base here. You can see the tapering very obviously here, straight down, straight down, straight down. Now you're coming off to the left, to the right a little bit. So we're paying attention to, can this confirm up? It did on the last bar of the day, but I want you to look at the bar, right? The bar kind of matters to me, right? I want multiple reasons to take a trade. So just so you know, the MACD crossing up, if you take the course, that's just one reason for taking the trade, right? One reason. Divergence can be another reason. The other reason could be maybe a weekly expected move. The other reason is, hey, price action needs to get at least above the 9, if not all the way above the 5 for this to start trending up. So that would be one of my reasons as well. Do we have that right now? No, you have a confirmation on a bar that's overall very, very flat. It's slightly positive, but very flat, but it's below this 9 on the 2 hour. It's below the 5-day moving average. So those are the two things that I'd be really looking out for from TLT. That data should help it out, like really the data should, but I think the market might be spooked already too much. So they might need to see another good CPI for that to happen. We'll find out eventually, right? We got to see how these things, you know, it's not, the market's not even open yet, so we got to see how that reacts. But I think TLT, you're just looking at that 2 hour, you're going, hey, I'm looking for a positive bar there, and then you have to watch out for CPI, right? You can't just close your eyes and say, oh yeah, this has to go up. You have to be paying close attention to CPI and going, okay, what is my plan if I need to manage risk? If this thing starts to go up, if TLT starts to go up, hey, how am I going to manage my risk in case that goes wrong with CPI? Is Apple going to squeeze today? As of right now, you're not seeing the most positivity out the gate. Obviously, we know the big players come in at the end of the day, so I would see how it looks by the end of the day. But Apple overall, testing a monthly, then testing a weekly, then coming back in the monthly, as of right now, you would lean towards this having some kind of bounce. If not to create that divergence down here, but also to maybe even recover over time. You would expect that at this point, and I think now you're kind of going, It seems the whole market, even though the SPY and the Qs look pretty damn positive opening up, I think the market's still spooked. So you probably want some big orders to push this thing higher, just like you kind of did yesterday. You did have some decent volume coming in these bars, some decent volume at the end of the day, right? So actually, wait, let me double check. Yeah, decent volume at the end of the day. That's kind of what I was paying attention to. So what we were looking at was, is this going to recover or is this going to back off? And I think the state you're in is something you want to pay attention to here. People are very, very bearish. So they're going to want, if there's another piece of news coming out tomorrow and it's more important, right? What do you pay more attention to, right? PPI or CPI? Which one do you react to more? Well, it would probably be CPI. And at this point, if CPI is going to, be bad for the market, this would be an opportunity to say, hey, we're going to head lower. And if the CPI actually comes out good, well, now you have a good PPI and a good CPI. So I'd be paying attention. Yeah, you had PPI come out at 0.2. And the core PPI month over month coming in at 0. Core PPI year over year coming in at 3.5. So 3.5 is the only one that I think justifies it. But most people are just paying attention to the PPI month over month there. So you're looking at 0.2%. which was last time it was 0.4. Consensus was 0.3, so you got a pretty good reading there. Did you take the Apple play yet? I had the orders ready as of yesterday, and I have a small order right there, right? I'm seeing if this thing needs to back off or something like that, but very small. Going into data, I do not take big plays. I wait for the real confirmation to take the big play, right? So it'd be if this 2 hour could really confirm up, maybe I'm able to get into something a little bit more. If we really take back the 5, I'd be more excited about this, or at least taking back 236.36. So yeah, I dabbled in Apple. And it's not saying the most positivity. The other one that I was dabbling in was Amazon. I really like the Amazon play. I think the Microsoft play is a good one. I just think Amazon's more set up to be like, yeah, I'm going to test the high, go make a new one. I can pay attention to a monthly expected move and all that good stuff. So I'm not expecting this to be some kind of just up in one shot. We get a good PPI and everything's better again. I mean, you just go look. You're in extreme fear now, so it's going to take some good things and some big orders to get people back on the bull side. So people are really, really quick to hit the sell button at this point. So we need to be paying attention to if we actually build these strong bases, if we actually confirm up. And what's the strong base at this point? It's on a lot of 2 hour charts. That's how I would really look into it. ABC whipsaw move to shake out both. It could be possible. Usually you'll at least see some kind of reaction from volatility at that point. And this is why I'm just paying attention. If we do get that reaction from volatility, that might be the time where something like Apple just double dips, right? Just double dips in some way. Or the SPY even turns down and makes like a higher low. The Qs, as they haven't reacted there, could still dip all the way down. So if they react a little bit higher, then you would say, hey, maybe more so a higher low. So we're just paying attention, waiting. But dabbling in some stuff with Apple and Amazon is always a good thing for me at this point. I mean, I have reversal signals, so I'm paying attention to them. Had a double bottom signal for Amazon, so I'm paying attention. I have a month out. Yeah, I took like month out plays for Amazon and Apple just because I don't know how this is going to shape up. So I want to manage risk with taking more time in that option play. Willing to pay more for some contracts there. But yeah, for these things, I mean, you can just look at a daily and be like, okay, well, this took how many days? Okay, this went from December 26th all the way down to here. If this is going to be a bottom, that's 18 days. So that would be, let's look at 18 days, right? 18 days would go all the way to the end of the month. So I have a little bit more extended than that, just in case during that time we don't just do this, right? We'd have to do the same pattern pretty much, right? So I'm thinking maybe we end up doing something like this, and then that would take longer, right? That would take a lot longer. If we did something like that, oops, I did the wrong area here. It would take probably more than 18 days right here. We might have to take up to 20, 30 days in order to get to those highs. So I'm going to be taking that a little bit longer out. I'm not expecting every single time that we're going to get this and then this, right? Yeah, so month out. Still waiting to see if that 2 hour can confirm up. And noticing this, the 2 hour is not positive in any way. Apple taking up towards 250 actually. Apple, I like the 250 area. The reason I like 250, by the way, is because that's where I think we back off. So if I wanted to, I can be very strategic with it. I can play this, see a couple of good readings, and then run into maybe some kind of move here, a weekly move or something like that. And then we end up turning down for that pullback. I can take profit here, see that turn down, see it curl back up. Then I can reapply that again, feeling a little bit safer about the move. Just because the reason for that is it's so far away from the center line, and that's why I like to do it. And doing a month out really makes it so I can be pretty damn relaxed during all of it. Yeah, with a longer dated option, it can be pretty expensive to take like these type of things. So if I'm not going to apply a bunch of money, right, I'm not risking a ton of money, then I'll just say like, okay, yeah, 250 looks pretty good. That's pretty far away. So it's going to be decently cheap. So I'm going to, buy some time there by pushing out the expiration. Palantir, I actually think there's one that I'm going to point out here in a second, but Palantir, very, very good. Notice a deep 2-hour MACD, but 30 minutes, look at this, 30-minute divergences popped up, right? 30-minute divergences popped up. You can be paying attention to this. We can go look and see if we have some reasons for a trade here, right? Let's see. We didn't go down to a weekly expected move, so that's one thing you have to keep in mind, but you do have some 30-minute divergences there suggesting a 2-hour can curl up. If this is going to fail, well, if this is going to behave like a bear market, that is, then you might need a 2-hour base, right? A lot of stocks have a 2-hour base. But since this timing looks like a lot of other things are creating bases, this means we could see that move and get a higher low, I think. So I'll be paying attention to that. Something that I thought was more interesting than Palantir. I know Palantir, still a pretty good look for a little 2-hour bounce. I mean, you're happy with it right now, right? And then you look at, hey, we're at the 5. What do I need to do at the 5 and things like that. Let me look at the upside move there. And you have plenty of room to the upside for a solid move here. Now, SoFi is one that I was more paying attention to. Look at this divergence on the 2-hour. That is pretty. That is very pretty. And if we go look at the 30-minute, we're actually seeing some slight divergences on the 30-minute as well. So this has some reasons behind the trade right now for SoFi. This is one that I was looking at. I just like to play Apple. I mean, Apple's just something I'm very comfortable with, but this is one that I was potentially looking at. You see how you're really seeing this downtrend come down like so, and then you're seeing, hey, we're trying to flatten out in some way, right? We were like this, and now we're like this, and now it's starting to look like a wedge, isn't it? So I'm starting to pay attention to it. Am I going to take a play behind it? I don't really want to risk a lot. I really think that the SPY, when it's all said and done, maybe we have a few pushes higher, and then we're actually going to get some kind of real correction, like a bigger correction, or even a stock market crash, right? So I think you have potential for that to leak into February, by the way, at this point, with how this is setting up. Would be very interesting to see some kind of ripping move like this and then just drop off a cliff. I think that would be a little bit interesting, and I don't think that's likely to happen. I think you're more likely to do some behavior like this, create a double top or something in February now. And that's all we do, like, right? We extend things if we have to extend things. We're at the bottom of the Bollinger. We had a lot of time during this to base out, so this will most likely have some energy, and we'll see which way that's distributed. At this point, it's not confirmed to be upside. It's just looking pretty probable with some of the looks we're getting. We need to see if these 2 hours can cross up, and then we can really be like, okay, this is probable. Now we can watch out for, hey, maybe we're going to fail that move, just like here. Just like here, we're looking for the opportunity to short. We're looking for the opportunities to go long. Right now, I think there's opportunities to say, hey, you could potentially be seeing a bottom here, so watch out. If this 2 hour starts to cross up and confirm, you could get little pullbacks and things like that, but you might end up keep going in the upward direction. Okay, and since we're seeing that, I can take a play, and then I can look what stocks look like in here. I can look what happens after the CPI reading, and I can be ready with a plan in case things go wrong. But it's a good thing a lot of these stocks gave little 30-minute divergences and things like that. Apple was one that was a little speculative on for the 30-minute, right? This one only had it for the RSI. And we have not taken back 236.36. So you only have it on the RSI. I know it was only on the RSI. It's just I like to trade Apple, so I played Apple. And Amazon, though, looks just fantastic. Amazon looks really, really good here. Like, Amazon looks like one of the best. But it doesn't mean something can't go wrong, right? These signals aren't ever 100%. They only are 100% when you look back, right? So you have to be aware that this could be a moment where you're going to end up seeing this go up. And the signals are suggesting that. But we also want to be aware that we have data tomorrow that could fail. Okay, so we're just paying attention to both sides. Right now we're looking at this, and it's looking pretty good. We're looking at all these, they're looking pretty good. Apple is very weak compared to the market, and I think you're justified to bring that up. I'm still going to be aware of a lower high here and things like that, right? Where would that lower high take place? Well, I'm paying attention to right here, right? But I'm also paying attention to right here in case there is a higher low. The main thing for Apple, though, is if the daily chart curls up, it is still very likely to go test the high and go make a new one. Very likely. So we'll see. Has it curled up? No. So should I be thinking that that is going to happen right now? I can think it is, but is it going to happen right now? No, this isn't curled up, so that makes no sense, right? It's not going to happen until that's curled up. It's not going to happen until this 2 hour can curl up and go positive. So I'm sitting, waiting, chilling, looking for this 30-minute. If the 30-minute rolls, hey, I can be out of the play. I might even look deeper into like a 15-minute and say, hey, is that close to the center line? Yes, it is. So the 15-minute, what's that going to show me? It's going to show me if there's weakness in this 30-minute move. And if this curls down by the center line, what's a very likely thing to happen? Test the low, go make a new one. Which means, hey, this could dip back down and then curl up. It could dip down and not curl back up, right? I'm just waiting to have to react. And this right now, I think yesterday was a reason to react on the 30-minute. And then we just have to make sure everything goes right, because I'm going to be mainly, I really don't have to look at Amazon. I feel like that's just a great play. I will be paying attention to it, especially around CPI, but Apple's the one I have to watch because it's only on the RSI. The 30-minute divergence is only on the RSI. So we easily, for Apple, could do something like this. Easily. Apple is the one that's leaning towards that, I would say, and more likely to do so. So I'm paying attention to it. Looks good right now, though, right? JVO? What the heck is JVO? Oh, yeah, we've looked at JVO before. Okay, 2 hour by the center line. I would be keeping it very simple here. I would be keeping it simple and saying, hey, I want that 2 hour to curl up. You see it already crossing the signal line there for the RSI. And I want a strong closing green bar above the 9 here. And if that takes me above the 5, I feel more comfortable. And then I would say, hey, the 30-minute, if that can, with this slight divergence you have on the MACD, not on the RSI at the same time. So you're going to want to watch this play a little closely. It's only on one momentum indicator, the reversal signal for potential upside. So that just tells me, hey, if this goes up to here and crosses down into negative territory, we go like this and we cross down, that could be rejection from the 5. That could be some kind of structure to head down or lower. So that's what I'd be paying attention to for risk. Above the 9 means this red line. Above the 9 on your chart, right, on whatever time frame you're looking at, that's the kind of trigger there, right? So if I was playing this 30-minute divergence, right, on this MACD, just a MACD divergence, maybe I have a weekly expected move. I need more reasons than that, but for the sake of the argument here, we'll talk about it. That's divergence there on the MACD. It's not on the RSI really at the same time. It's a little bit down there. I can blow it up so you can see. I can blow it up so you can see how that is down. So it's not on both at the same time. So it's not the best signal. It just means I might watch it a little bit closer. But if I have 3 to 5 reasons, I can take a play, and then I can go, okay, if that crosses above the 9 on a positive bar, I could take any of these little bars in here, and those are all confirmations because they're positive bars above the 9. They're very small. That's why I really don't know if I would have done something with this, but the other thing is just if the 2 hour curls up, you have a swing trade, right? Yeah, Pish. No, good question. It's all right. Yeah, this now this line here, just so you're aware, this blue line is a 5-day on shorter time frames. These are all 2 hour ones, right? 2 hour moving averages. This is a daily moving average, the light blue, just so you're aware. Tesla with a big upward move. Remember we were talking about Tesla, the fact that it never confirmed down and started to make a bunch of little 30-minute divergences, and then it got close to the center line. And what happens when it gets close to the center line? We actually reject the downside one time here off of the point here on the RSI, and now, boom, we're heading to the upside. So very, very good there from Tesla. Another thing for Tesla, though, is just the daily swing trade there, and that's really all we're paying attention to at this point. So we're going to watch the CPI before, because if the CPI is good, that could project things higher. We'll find out. We're going to see in a second how people are positioning from this point forward. Are they still fearful? That's going to be a big deal. And we're starting to cross up through key levels, so a daily expected move touch to the upside might be happening today. We don't have to go touch it, but we do gravitate to those levels. Yeah, SPY's pretty simple. 30-minute divergence on the RSI. Okay, awesome. That can cause a 2 hour to bounce. We understand it's not on the MACD. At the same time, it's not really that good, right? Kind of down there. So now we're looking for that to curl up the 2 hour. And if the 2 hour curls up, what does it have? Well, it has divergence all across the MACD, and it's holding the main divergence point from back here. So I can read into that a little bit, right? I don't really like the fact that this blip is here, but I'm still going to read into it like so, and then I'm very comfortable managing my trades, so I can take any play I want as long as I'm good at managing trades and I'm taking things at decent times. This is a decent time, right? And we got good data. What did we say with good data? You can see some upside. That's what we're getting right now. Test of the 5. So for the SPY, we're seeing if this is the level we stop. Do we back off and then curl up? Or do we keep going and then we just get bad news with CPI? Or do we curl up and get good news with CPI? So 2-hour confirmations are going to be what you're looking for now. 30-minute confirmations already took place. Qs, similar thing. Not as good on the MACD for sure, but still holding the divergence point on the RSI and holding a pretty good divergence right here for the Qs on the 2-hour. These things mean this could be still a base. This could be a fake out move is what that's overall saying at this point, but you need the data to help you out here. With the fact that 2025 is going to come with a lot of confusion, what are people going to do? They're going to look for things that make them less confused. What's a very easy, what do you do when you're like, you know, what are you doing when you're shopping for a house? Well, you're going to go look at data. You're going to go look at homes. You're going to go look at the pricing of the house. You're going to go look at the rates. You're going to look at you're going to look for data when you are looking for something, or you are, say, confused about something. And I think that's what people will do now. I think data will cause big moves, like pretty much all of 2025. Yeah, Isaac. Appreciate you asking. Sorry, chugging my coffee for a sec. Hope everyone's doing good out there. How's Blackberry looking? I haven't been. It's hard for me to remember what Blackberry's doing. This is holding sideways pretty well. Ooh, the good part is you're holding, but you see this, right? I understand there might be some short seller things going on here for Blackberry. Okay, there might be some short seller things going on for Blackberry. I actually looked at the short sale volume this morning for Blackberry. Weirdly enough, I did not look at Blackberry chart, but for some reason my fingers typed Blackberry short sale, and that thing is going like that. So they are either getting out of positions or really going to suppress the stock. So you want to pay attention to the fact that the daily has crossed down. That's fine. The daily can back off. Your reward risk, if you just use that from a basic Bollinger Band standpoint, you just be like, okay, this might be the risk. That's my reward. As long as you know that, and this 2-hour curls up, you might see a good move, right? We're kind of building. You're flagging out pretty good here. Flagged out, little break, move higher. Flag out, can you break higher again? And that's what you're kind of looking for there. But the daily has crossed down. And you do have 2-hour divergence here, but it's holding up really, really well, flagging out. So if that 2-hour can confirm up, hey, you might see the next move. You're trying to already do that with the RSI on the signal line. You have an hour and 40 minutes left. DGen play on HKD. Let's friggin' go, dude. I love DGen plays. Yo, I need to open up the fun account. So this is actually really, really cool. The reason it's really, really cool is because notice when this good move came, there's a tiny little 2-hour divergence, right? You see that plain and simple right here on the RSI. Very, very good. Very nice. You see that? Crosses up. What does it do? It never crosses back down. It goes positive. It sees a great move. Then it backs off. So the thing here that I'm wondering is if there's 30-minute divergence that could have gave you a hint. You do see some potential for double top with a small blip there, but I like the 30-minute here. So you're more so seeing this as a lower high at this point because these were wicks on the 2-hour. So you're seeing a high, a lower high, a low. Now you're making lower lows, right? But you do have some divergence popping up on the 30-minute MACD, not the RSI at the same time. So I would just keep that in mind. Does this have to turn around now, or would you rather look for something like that? Yeah, it's kind of up to you. But these big moves, most of them came with some form of 2-hour divergence. I don't think you really have divergence across at this point. If you did, you could pull up a 4-hour, right? That's where it's obvious. So 4-hour makes it obvious. And this 4-hour turning up like this says, hey, we could see a daily actually cross back up if the 4-hour is able to confirm that as well. Look at the daily divergence. This one looks more interesting to me than even Blackberry at this point, right? Unless I'm trying to play some kind of squeeze. But this looks very interesting to me. You actually have the divergence right here. You have triple divergence on the MACD, and you have a 4-hour divergence that can give you a hint before that even happens. So the daily might cross up here, the 4-hour might cross up down here a little bit, and you can have a better position. So I'd be watching a 4-hour actually at this point. And if the 2-hour helps you out and gives you a hint like this, that's what I'd be watching for as well. Very cool. IWM with a nice snapback move. IWM with a great 2-hour divergence there. You can really see this one. Oh, that looks beautiful. These are not the right levels. I'm still just lagging behind on these charts. On my other charts, I believe they're updated. But the daily can curl up from this, seeing a small divergence there on the RSI. What were we always leaning towards for IWM? Yeah, we're off with the timing, right? We've had to manage some trades in here. But right when we give up on it, hey, it starts to set up a 2-hour divergence. And now that they've really convinced us IWM can't go up, we see a reversal signal. So then you see a reversal signal. If this daily crosses up, watch out for these levels. But also, we're still leaning towards some kind of lower high. Right, is that going to happen here? Is that going to happen right here? 235, I believe 235 is what we were watching for. AMD at this moment, I really want to see the daily is curling down. You don't want to see that. So what's the 2-hour look like? Hey, the 2-hour needs to confirm up for me to be happy. This is looking pretty flaggy still. Not the best look for even a flag at this point. Do I think there's a ton of downside left? We'll see. I think what you're looking for here is maybe some little price action to push you down and then curl you back up. This would be a very nice hint. I'm more just talking about an opportunity that would be very obvious, by the way. AMD can curl up on a 2-hour and just start heading up. I'm just saying this would be very obvious. If it pulled down like this for a brief moment and turned back up, that would be an obvious play that says, hey, the 2-hour can start to head in the upward direction. That's all I'd really read into for AMD. If you look on the daily scale, you're going, hey, it's forming some divergences there. Maybe that's enough to project us higher into our zone up here. Because technically you're in a zone right now. Right, we have a few little areas down here to pay attention to. I want to make those a little bit darker. I always feel like I put the different color on each one, but whatever. Yeah, so if the daily confirms down, we don't like that, but you're at bottom Bollinger. I mean, I think a reaction at least to the 5 is justified, but you got to make sure you're paying attention to signals and all that kind of thing. You need to make sure to be managing risk. That's the main thing about it. It's like I can be comfortable taking any play as long as I can manage risk. If I'm able to manage risk, I'm pretty comfortable, and I'm pretty damn good at it, right? So if this Apple play starts to go wrong, right, a little 15-minute crosses down, I might be out for the time being. And then if it wanted to maybe react back up, I might be right back in, right? I'll see what my decision-making leads me to at that point. Good morning, that dude, Chris. How you doing? What do you think about shorting USO? Well, you do have some reasons for it, right? You might have some reasons for it here, but I think you're still in a overall bullish move. I kind of want to look at actual US oil for this. I want to look at a 2-hour and just show it's pretty high up, right? And then if that could curl down, are we losing anything key here? If we would see just a trend pullback move, would we be losing anything here because we don't have 2-hour divergences? Notice this, 2-hour divergences pop up, that's when you see a bigger reaction. No 2-hour divergence here, so we're really just seeing, hey, that downward move here for the RSI, which can lead to a pullback, but I want to see where that 5 is, and it's decently far away. So that just tells me this could keep moving sideways, this could move down for a brief moment and still see the next trend move up. We're not seeing the weakening in momentum here on both indicators for a 2-hour. On the 2-hour, I really like to see it at the same time. Actually, the 30-minute, I more so want to see it at the same time. 2-hour can see a bigger drop down and still be able to recover. Are you losing key levels? What's key levels? Well, key levels would be this block right in here at this point. You got to lose this block, and then you're in a downtrend. So could you short it? I'm sure there's opportunities in some way for USO. I'm sure there's opportunities. I think you back off to one of our white lines. I think that makes total sense. But it's just, I don't like to short bullish trend, even if it's a pullback move. I don't like to short those unless I'm seeing major reversal signals. I am seeing a 30-minute divergence, which means this can be a little bit more mean. But if we hold up at 80.52, it's just going to be a very short-term play. Oh yeah, we did actually look at SoFi, and I'll point it out again because I think SoFi looks fantastic. 30-minute divergences down here, awesome. 2-hour divergence across, awesome. 2-hour turns up, awesome. Daily, if that all holds positive, the daily has a good shot to turn up here and test the high, go make a new one. SoFi still one I'm kind of looking at. I just already have a couple of plays. I'm like, I don't know if I want to expose myself that much. Because in the grand scheme of things, like, that's all the signals you need right there, right? Those are so many reasons to take a play there. It's insane. And then you manage risk. But the SPY, what I want to be paying attention to is the fact that I probably don't have too much upside left. So as a trader, you know, and as an investor, me investing or trading bigger numbers down in here, down in here, down in here, then I start to notice, hey, these push-ups are getting a little bit smaller, a little bit. I know they're big moves, but they are smaller overall, right? This was a bigger move. This is a big move. This is a big move. Now we're seeing them shorten up a little bit, right? More chop. So that tells me as a trader, do I want to be risking, or as an investor, do I want to be risking a ton of money for this? Or maybe this? Maybe not. Maybe not, right? It's just a way to convince myself to manage risk, right? Any way I convince myself to manage risk is going to be a good thing. Can I get rid of the background? I don't like that. I might turn these off for now. I don't think Bollinger's or something that I'm really watching at this moment. Just too much going on there. Yeah, so SH33, I mean, really, if you're pointing out SoFi, you're probably seeing some things that I'm seeing. And then today, we just know for the SPY, we need that 2-hour to curl up. We know the risk. We know the potential for the 30-minute to curl down is still there. We don't have the divergence on the MACD and RSI at the same time. A little bit of both. I'm saying if I was a long-term investor, I'd be going like, okay. If I was a long-term investor, I'd be like, what happened when we had signals like this? So we're really high up. If I was a long-term investor, am I getting in here and I made, you know, am I getting in at the right time here and then I'm making, maybe I'm even holding 2 right now and I just say, okay, I'm up 30% in a little over a year, year and a half maybe. And then I want to say, okay, do I want to risk that 30% to go make 5%? Maybe. Or do I think that these signals mean something and therefore we could see that drop lower even with that move higher, right? This move hasn't happened, so you're not guaranteed that's going to happen. And then you could see that, right? We could see all the way down to these levels, 27%. So it's like, as a longer term or medium term investor, I think you're going, I'm not liking this. As a very short term investor, you're kind of like, okay, cool. A daily turns up. Hey, when I say short term investing, I'm like 1 to 2 months. Okay. So short term investing, you'd be like, okay, maybe I do dabble in here and I maybe make that 5%, but I might just might not risk as much money. That's all I'm talking about. Thanos. See, and look at that, AMC actually goes negative here. I kind of thought so. So my theory with AMC is I think they're getting out of positions. I think they're trying to push this lower to get out of positions. Genuinely think that at this point. GME probably going to back off as well. We'll see what happens with that. That's what the signals are saying at this point. You have not gotten that confirmation from the 2-hour to go back up. You're starting to, maybe lose that first higher low. All right, this is where you want to hold above. If you don't hold above that, pretty much a straight shot to go test 28.35. You don't hold up at that, pretty straight shot to go test something like 26. You don't hold that, you're probably back down in these areas. And that's a daily divergence, so it's there for you. Like everyone, you know, for the most part, GameStop moves just like a regular stock, buying and selling. That's all it is. If you're paying attention to the signals, you know where the risk is. The risk is here. But we'll see. Hey, there you go, Short Fridays. That's not a bad way to put it. That's not a bad way to do it. You know what I mean? Dang it, I said it already this morning. Yeah, you're starting to get to overbought or oversold. You're not seeing any reversal signals, so you'd have to say AMC looks terrible. That's what you have to say. It looks bad. But what is the goal here? Because I can tell you that this move is coming down. The short sale volume is going up pretty quick right now. So had a big spike there. We'll see what happens. I really like it above the 20. Hey, that's fine, Ben. That could be your reason, right? There's multiple ways to trade any kind of stock. If you're treating AMC correctly, hey, that's fine. For me, a lot of the time, it just means this. A lot of the time, where the heck is AMC? God dang it. For me, a lot of the time, it's just, hey, it did the daily cross back down? Oh, okay, the daily cross back down? Okay, awesome. I'm going to get out of my calls. I can still hold the stock. I can buy the stock at cheaper prices if I want to. But as far as a options trade goes, you're not going to be in calls if you're seeing this, right? That is a management of the risk time, right? Management of the risk time maybe for an option. But if the 2 hour could curl up, maybe you're back to the bullseye. You know, there's plenty of ways to do it. Haven't lost the low yet. 2 hour crosses up, you're still right by the center line. Shut up, Marjala. You and your little grinder. DJT will have that gap down. Reacting actually to get some support, I believe, at a weekly expected move. Very, very cool. Oh, hope for better. Yeah, we clicked on it right when you asked about it. Yeah, we were looking for the break to the upside. This was great. The 2 hour even confirmed up, never confirmed back down. So it looks fantastic. Went to a weekly expected move up in these areas. Looks like we're getting a retest possibly of that weekly expected move. Remember, weekly expected moves, if you get above them, you can start to use them as support. Let's see. Almost. You have a little bit lower to go. This is more the retest right here, this wick. So now what are you looking for? Well, did the 30-minute confirm down? Is the 30-minute really negative? What are the percentages for the week, right? These are all questions you have to ask. You're seeing little 5-minute divergence up here. Okay, cool. 30-minute maybe turns down. Maybe we end the week in here. Maybe we retest. Or that hasn't crossed down yet. I'm just talking about things to react to. And if that 30-minute does cross down, very likely you could see some kind of pullback here. But it's very positive. So look for if that 30-minute can turn back up. That means another positive move is coming. If it never curls up, might turn down. Wolfie boy, Mara. Mara, very interesting here with the 2 hour divergence, by the way. I would not be sleeping on Mara right now. So Mara is showing a very good 2 hour divergence. That might have more time left to make a reaction, but Mara showing some pretty damn good 2 hour divergence there. Which means this daily can get going. Maybe we end up back to our zone. Bitcoin looked pretty good. Waiting to see if that daily can curl up. Remember, we were pointing out the fact that the 4 hour, we like 4 hour charts for Bitcoin, had a steep divergence, mainly on the MACD, right? The RSI looking pretty flat, if not a little bit down. But this is something that says, hey, there are some chance here that the daily can curl up. Now, I would just be aware of structure, right? You do have some bad things going on here. You do have some bad things going on here. So we'll look for weakness here. We really don't want a bad CPI reading now, in my opinion. You want to confirm that up. You see that we're already crossing the signal line and crossing the center line for the RSI. So, but Mara looks great. It really does. Like, look at that 2 hour divergence. It hasn't confirmed yet. You have some more time in this, but man, doesn't look bad to me. Probably should have. Damn, wish I had a weekly expected move for this bad boy. SMCI, looking at that one as well. Slightly higher low, but pretty steep on that RSI. Pretty steep here, able to go positive. Pretty steep here for that MACD. We'll see if that can curl up. You're really just looking at 2 hour charts today, it seems. And then you're looking at shorter time frames for the risks. We'll look at 30 minutes with you guys. It moves around a little bit more. All right, let me pull this up. Imagine a really bad CPI and a possible hike. The devil will get a tingle down there. If they raise rates at this point, the housing sector is going to collapse. And the housing sector is giving you reversal signals. So the housing sector liked the data, it seems, but we pointed out that HGX actually having these 2-hour divergences can make a daily move up. Look how negative that is, though. So this most likely will reject. We have that point up here where you're going to reject from. This is what we talked about yesterday. But these are putting in a divergence while everyone's talking about yields now, and we're in extreme fear. So it's like, okay, so now is the dollar and the 10-year going to start to come down to really fake everyone out? Well, we notice now people are overall in the middle of things now, maybe reaching slightly towards the call side for the day. So something I'd just be watching is if we get another dip here, but overall, very good. I know that we have a lot. I mean, I could look through. Actually, that might be a good thing to do. Let's look through that real quick. And I'm just going to shout out some things here for the SPY. We're going to look at how bearish this type of move made people, right? So for the week, you have for Friday's close, you have a 2.3775 put to call ratio. So if you start to see positivity, you can start that squeeze this week. Let's look next week, right? Where is it? Where the heck is it? There we are. Next week, you have a 3.38 put to call ratio. The next week, let's go look at the next week here. Let's see, where is it? I think it would be the 31st at that point. 31st, so the end of the month, you have 4.1667. So if we start to see positivity, you intelligent people, you over there, God, you guys are so smart. What do you think would happen if we start to see positivity if everyone is bearish and they start to lose money? What do you think would happen? Those levels, those numbers that I just shouted out for the put call ratio, those were for the SPY. Nobody? Bueller? Bueller? Bueller. What do you think happens? Do you think they're going to hold those positions and lose money the entire time? Or do you think that they might close those positions and join the positivity, causing more positivity, causing them to have to buy in, causing something I would like to call maybe a squeeze? Yeah, that's what we're really watching. So there's a lot of bearishness right now. Now it's starting to look a little bit better with some data. If you get more good data with CPI, I'd be watching out. This thing could really push higher. What time do they release the data? The data got released an hour before the open today. You had a PPI of 0.2. Very good reading. Now, as of this moment, you are just seeing a test of the 5. We'll see if that can continue. People read more into computer death. I think people read more into the CPI anyway, but PPI is a good, it's a good form to look at. It's still important. Caused positivity, good reading. We'll see if CPI can follow. Show Amazon. I don't really have lines for it. I just have great signals, right? And so this is a trade that, I can be in right now, and then I just go, okay, I need to manage risk. If this goes wrong, right? I'm still looking for that 2 hour to confirm up right here. It looks great. There's nothing bad about Amazon right now. It looks like a consolidative pullback. It literally looks like a flag. Let's even see if it's a flag with this level. I like to do this for fun. I like to see if things are like really even. Even have tapering, I would say, in the flag. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, it can go wrong, right? We know that a stock doesn't have to prove every single time momentum shows them. So we're just paying attention to if we have to manage risk in this. 2 hour confirms up, might dabble in a little bit more. I don't relate them at all. SH33, I don't relate them at all. What I would suggest is stop trying to relate them, stop trying to read into it, look at what your signals are saying, follow those, and then have a plan for if things go wrong. That's the better thing to do, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Dang it. Okay, we're done saying it for the day. Nvidia looking a bit weak. Yeah, Nvidia's suffering above that 135. No 2-hour curl up yet. Nvidia's a tricky one. Nvidia's a tricky one. But that did kind of get rid of some flagging. We'll see what happens. But Nvidia does not have, like, I'm not taking a play on Nvidia for a specific reason. It doesn't give me anything. Nvidia gives me nothing to go off of right now. Nvidia curled down on a daily chart. This is like, I do not do anything with, I don't take calls on something that just crossed down, especially near the center line, guys. That's like, this is why I wasn't even paying attention to Nvidia. Because I was like, okay, this is curled down on the daily. Unless I see like some kind of, you know, golden setup, right, that we talk about in the course, which almost, I would say 99% of the time, you're not going to see that. Maybe 99.9% of the time, you're not going to see that down here. It's just, it's very unlikely. So this just tells me I don't take calls on it. Nope. Even from here, I'm not going to do it. There are better plays out there like Amazon. There are better plays. Probably even like Meta looks better at this point. Right? Meta still suffering, getting another retest here. And actually giving you little tiny divergence with the blip. Little tiny divergence with the blip. What can happen from this? Meta can turn up on a 2-hour. Where's the 2-hour? It's right by the center line. Meta's still stuck in between our lines. Stuck. Right? Bad things up here, good things start to happen down below that line. So we're paying attention if that can actually confirm up and break through and maybe retest to hold it. I think there's just better opportunities. Microsoft looks good, right? 2-hour turns up, daily trend move goes up. Where's the daily? It's a little bit negative, so we'll pay attention to a lower high. So we're watching our zone, and we're watching these points in here towards 442 and towards 447. GME actually trying to go positive now. Let's see if that 2-hour can confirm up. Maybe it's back to business. But AMC just still tanking. Amazon love the play. All right, let's just go look at the SPY for a little bit here. On a 30-minute, another test of the 5. We'll see what happens here. This is where we could make that right shoulder in the little micro here. Morning, Lucas. I got a request. Wait, are you asking me if you have a request? Yeah, so I'm in Amazon. I'm just very confident with it. Amazon and Apple. Apple's the one I know I need to manage more, but Apple's seeing positivity right now. Now it's up 0.66. I have it up on my, so Apple's the one that's up on my other screen. I'm not scared of Amazon like at all. At all. And that one's already green for me, so this is where I need to be paying attention, but I'm still just like, it looks great. The only way I'll sell this at this point is if the 30-minute crosses down. Apple, I'm like, hey, if that 15-minute crosses down, I gotta be watching that. What about SPY till the end of the day? It can do anything. You have data tomorrow. And people are very, very quick to hit the sell button. So if they see positivity today, do you think even day traders don't have fear here? Or do you think day traders are like, oh, okay, now we're due for a bounce, and then we're going to reject that bounce and sell out before CPI, and then we see this come down, and then CPI maybe comes out as bad and you flush through the floor. But if CPI comes out as good, now you've made structure. Now, where are day traders more likely to take profit? Well, first point would be somewhere around here for resistance, right? We have resistance. And then the more likely area is you can reach up to a daily expected move. So if you get this move, though, it's looking pretty good. I still like it. We did BB a little bit ago. I can't remember what it really was for BB, but you can look back for that at some point. Now, we can look at NVAX for you, though. I would say this, BB, the short sale volume for BB is going insane, just so you're aware, Doug TV. Type up here, type BB short sales. For NVAX, nothing really there for the 30 minutes, to be honest. 2 hour can curl up, you might see a positive move. Just notice that's negative at this point. It's a pretty good drop. You're still below the 5. So you would just be watching out for this. If I can build up, that's great. So it's pretty much you reject from here, you turn back down, that's bad. But if you can hold up, that's good. Any way you can take back this 5, I think you're back on it. So what you'd really be looking for is a great positive bar above the 9. Hey, that might have a chance to shoot you past this 5. And then you just want to manage risk. That's all this looks like to me. I don't see any big reversal signals. Here you had reversal signals. Even with this high here, I would say you do. But you have it here, and look at the drop. Here you didn't have it, but some big reaction, right? So you got to see if that 2 hour can curl back up. Because if you go into shorter time frames, you're looking at a 30-minute. Look at that. Is that close to the center line or a little bit far away? It's a little bit far away. So I always want to be aware that this is potentially just flagging right now. That could keep doing that. The 5 catches up, and then you reject. And then once you actually have some structure on the 30-minute to help you out, that's more when I'd pay attention. Or a 2 hour swing up, and then I can manage risk. Yields are still going strong, which is very interesting to me. I think the fear is still there. But dollar coming off now. We'll see what happens with that. You can see the dollar starting to get some struggle busting. Now, every time we see the struggle busting, we get something else, right? That pushes it back up. So really be paying attention if we can actually confirm on the MACD. That would be something different, right? All of these times, you never confirmed on the MACD. Haven't done it yet. Got to see that confirmation. A little divergence there, divergence all the way across, holding pretty steady there. So we're watching it. There you go, divergence on the MACD. Okay, cool. If you spread it out, you really see how it's a little bit significant there. I'm sure a lot of people are pointing this out now, you know. We like to point it out early, and then we watch for those reactions. We watch for those reactions. We look for little 4 hours and things like that to give us a signal. Hey, look at that. That's divergence. It's slightly down. You have divergence across all these highs on your MACD. You have divergence across all these highs on your RSI. See if this one violated. Very flat for the last one. So this easily could go bloop. Right? CPI tomorrow comes out as bad. People sell. They go into cash. Bloop. It's just that would be a lot of people correct about a stock market crash at the same time. that would be a lot of people correct. And I think the housing sector is telling you it's getting some relief there. So I think it's ready to move up. But yes, Pish, if the yields keep going up, you're probably going to see things keep going down. SVIX is on the move. Sorry, I gotta pull my pants were falling down. I had to let the boys out, man. It's all snowy and icy. Doug, hopefully you're able to find BB. I don't think there was like crazy things. I think it was holding up better and had some flagging going on in the shorter time frames, and that's what I'd watch. But the daily for BB, right? I think it was, yeah, the daily I'd confirmed down. So just be aware that that's curled down, but you're holding up really well, so you might just be moving sideways for that pullback. Oil confirmed resistance, good short. Yeah, let's look. USO hit our target, 82.90. Man, I should have looked at this again and been back in, but 82.90 actually got hit there. So great stuff there. We're paying attention to some key levels to break through to get more bullish, then the key levels for us to test if we made an upward move. And so we're right at the highest one at this point. So a big back off might be coming. Sorry, I'm on 4 hour charts. A nice back off could come. It could come down to here and just keep reacting up, but it could come a little bit deeper. But we'll see if it keeps trending up. That's the thing. It's still in a very positive trend. I was doing good, then all of a sudden, bang! Hey, trading be like that sometimes. Thoughts on Tesla? Tesla, yeah, we went over at the very beginning, so we can go look at that again real quick. Tesla, the thing we were pointing out was the 2 hour never confirmed the next move to break this low. It just never did on your MACD, which is impressive. And then when that was happening, we just go into a 30-minute and we see, oh my gosh, look at all those divergences getting you really, look at the MACD. Look at that thing. Up, 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 down, 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 down. Good, good, good. Round it out, crosses up by the center line, rejects the cross down, just turns, it just stays up. And now you're above the 5. Now you're looking pretty. So you're looking for, hey, can this daily curl up with some CPI news? That's pretty much what you're looking for here. Starting to test that signal line. So it's, can we hold positivity? Can that positivity then continue with CPI? Yeah, you can. Yields hit resistance levels like everything else, unless you're seeing something absolutely crazy. Yeah, you can still look at yields. We like to look at TLT and things like that, but we look at yields. We pull up like daily charts and we go, okay, so what are levels we can mark off here? Well, we broke through this. So really, when did people start to pay attention to the yield? When did the bad things really start? Well, let's look at the SPY. We saw this drop down right here, but then we tried to recover a few times. But we can notice that from this point, December 18th, we started to see bad things. So where's December 18th? December 18th is right here, right in here. So what happened on December 18th? Well, you took out this high, right? Once you took out this high, notice it's been going up forever, no one talks about it. Going up forever, no one talks about it. Then it starts to get through there and people start to get worried, right? That's the funny part for me. And I always talk about my brother and the housing stuff for that. But you're going to see more bearishness. Why? You're breaking through this level. That's why it's really, that's why the fear is really setting in. People are really going 5%, 5%, right? And we're like, yeah, that is definitely possible. But if we get two pieces of good data and this falls off before we get there, you might see this bottom out first. We'll be watching. And they can still go to 5% even if you get good data. So we're seeing an upward move right now and you got pretty good data. Yeah, just know that the market won't react. And the other cool thing you can pay attention to, by the way, Pish, since you're asking, is look at the 10-year and look at the dollar. They move almost in tandem. The dollar actual bottom day, I guess, would be September 30th. You notice the 10-year, hey, the bottom day was September 17th, started to react up, then boom, September 30th in here. So this is where the dollar bottomed. The yields bottomed first, with a daily divergence, right? So this is why we were calling out yields in the past. Yields turned up with divergence down here. They move just like almost like a stock. It's just you want to be watching bigger time frames. And you want to be paying attention to data, right? Because data can make things go really wrong for momentum, right? Like this. This looks like, hey, if we curl down on the daily, this could get really, really bad for the bears, right? If this curls down on the daily, that means we're getting good PPI data, good CPI data 2 days in a row. But what if you get bad CPI data? Well, then these signals are going to be washed. This is just not going to curl down. Or if it curled down, like say today, and then you get a bad CPI, it's just going to push right back up, probably up towards 5%. So just be aware of data drops, but also you can be aware, hey, this has a divergence. What do I want to do? Maybe I want to, look at TNX, right? Maybe I want to look at TNX and go, hey, I might take a play on that. And I might hold that for, say I take like a 2-month option or 3-month option, right? And then we see it go, bam. Then you go, awesome. Then you pull back. Then you cross up again. You go, okay, maybe another 2 months. And then you go, bam. Right? Pretty much, it has same looks as other stocks. It's not, to me, it's not random, right? There are times where you can catch things, which means it's not always just random. But yeah, we're looking at the SPY, looking at these key levels and just going, well, where do we think we would run into problems? Well, probably at that 5-day, but also towards this high. And that's the thing. So you need to be paying attention to CPI because it's kind of like after CPI, let me go look again, just a double check. After CPI, you'll get retail sales. Then you get a bunch of China data, building permits and housing starts. But it really looks like after CPI, if we can see bullishness and no data really ruins it, you're probably heading up and up and up until maybe starting January 28th, 29th, or 30th. Now, why would I be paying attention to mainly January 29th? Well, the Fed interest rate decision. And then why would we pay attention to January 30th? Well, the GDP growth rate, but not only that, the next day, you get more data, right? We get personal income, personal spending, core PCE price index. But you just don't have like the most important data after CPI here, in my opinion. So it means CPI might pick a direction and we might head in that direction for some time. But we'll have to find out which direction that'll be. Hovering over the UVIX buy button. Yeah, Jeffrey, it's kind of up to you, you know, if you want to try something, but you do have a lot of things that are curled up like this, looking like they might want to cross the center line. We're not seeing, at this point, I don't even think you're seeing 5-minute weakness. So it'd be very interesting to see a turn down here. You're also seeing a lot of like the volatility, right? VIX dropping down. Now we can look at VIX now. What's VIX showing here? A divergence, right? If that could prove today, that could mean more selling comes in. Now that could be wiped away tomorrow. Like if you see a reaction like this, it comes up, and then you get good CPI data, the market sees it as good, boom, VIX just falls through the floor. So, but that is there. It means we're paying attention to the right levels, by the way, because this is forming right as we hit, right where we kind of expect. If you want to hold up, that would be nice. Yes, and earnings kind of starts up, I believe tomorrow. I believe tomorrow you're going to see a lot of banks. A lot of banks. So let's look at this. This is interesting. I was looking at this morning because of the earnings. And I was looking at a 2-hour chart. And I was going, interesting. This looks like it might have something behind it. This looks like a daily might want to turn up in some way. Look at the divergence on the RSI. So it's there somewhere. Maybe it's on a 4-hour chart. Look at that 4-hour chart. XLF financials. Interesting look for financials. Weirdly enough, it looks a lot like IWM, but very, very interesting. Did we fill the gap? No. You are making a 4-hour divergence. That 4-hour divergence prints, it's going, hey, you take out this level, you might have a daily move up. Positioning of the MACD would say, watch out for lower highs, probably up towards 49.65. Maybe up towards 50.28. That looks like a pretty good break right there. Yeah, we can look at Hood for you real quick, but I'd be paying attention to this. I mean, earnings can go 50-50, so this is going to be something you more probably want to react to after you see some earnings, but I don't like to do things too much before. If you're going to do it before, we like to always do what? Manage our position size. Hood. Very, very good here to turn down. Even got a little 2-hour divergence for this move right here. Very, very nice, right? If we just look at that on the MACD, we can see that. Bam, right there. Bunch of divergence across. But the daily scale is what we're watching here. Okay, this overall said, I'm really high up, so this could be a pullback. And then you overall just move sideways. And now you're looking like this. Left, you see this? Then you see this head. Then you see this right shoulder. Hey, if that crosses up, what do you think happens? Well, all this energy built up in here might get released. Does it have to release to the upside? Well, we haven't broken through. We haven't crossed up on the MACD, but the RSI is kind of telling you, hey, it might be go time. So that's what I would say. Right now, the 2-hour, you're going to be paying attention to this. Because if this is going to fail in any way, you're going to see the 2-hour pop up for a second here, maybe for 4-6 hours. Then that drops back down. And so that's the management of risk right there. That's how you manage the trade overall on a daily swing. You're looking for opportunity. Yeah, this was just a simple curl up, right? Swing trade. This one, it's like, ooh, test of the 200. Okay, then we clarify, like, yes, that's the breakout retest most likely at that time. Then we curl up and we go up for a while, curl up, holding up well. This is probably the next real opportunity though. Heads to the upside, goes down, curling back up. We're about to see if this is a opportunity. The RSI is suggesting it is. The price action is suggesting it is, if that can hold. But you still have the dollar and the 10-year heading up, so very interesting there. DIA, I think, had a good look here. DIA, 2-hour divergence across. Probably got a 4-hour there. You see the 4-hour trying to print that. If that prints soon, you're very set. You're like, hey, the daily has a lot of stuff going on here. The daily could cross up into positive territory. Still looking for a lower high. I think you're paying attention to this little gap area in here. think you're looking at 443.47 for DIA. Good stuff. It's fun. Bloomberg had a thing on AMD. Cool. I found a bottom yesterday. Yeah, I think AMD, for the most part, I don't like trading the thing anymore. It still looks very, very flaggy to me. I mean, look at that 30-minute. Do you think this might make a divergence? Yeah, you could, you know, give arguments for a shorter time frame cup and handle maybe in some way, but I don't trust this too much. I think you could easily do something like that, fake people out, and then see that thing turn up. It's either that or you curl up a 2-hour, right? 2-hour curls up. That's probably what you're looking for. Not the best signals here, though. Big drop. You did kind of skip a shoulder here, so you can go make that. See how SoFi's doing. Still good. Still good. Still good. Nicknames deserved. Yeah, it's not a pretty one, that's for sure. It's just the plays cause management of risk too many times. Managing the trade in an AMD trade, it's like every single trade I take I have to manage, and then I end up with a win like every third one. And I'm like, yeah, that's not a stock I like that behavior. I'm fine with doing it like once, right? We go like this, we're like, okay, nope, fail. Okay, comes down, then we make the next divergence point, we go, okay, that's the point. And then it goes. AMD's like, oh yeah, we're gonna go, we fail, and then we go, and then we fail, and then we make another one, and then we fail, and then we go up. And I'm just like, that's too much. It's just not behaving well. And when you realize that after trading it for, you know, I said I haven't really traded it in like months now. Once I realized that, I was just like, yeah, I can analyze it, I can look into it, but I just know the plays are going to be wonky every time until there's one that isn't, and how am I going to point out the one that isn't when it looks so similar to all the other ones? So, nope, I'll be chilling. Wait for the SoFi earnings, though. When is earnings for SoFi? Am I just ignoring that? Well, you might see people guess before the earnings. This is the only thing I see. Remember, volatility was the only thing we saw back here, and that helped us out. Volatility is the only thing I see right here. See the 2 hours not negative yet. Volatility does like to make lower highs. Really want to see if this daily can confirm down, because that would be a solid confirmation, like, yes, this is a lower high for volatility. Maybe we can read into VIX 9-day or something. Still like Mara. Mara looking pretty. VIX 9-day. Hasn't crossed on the 2 yet. SPY. 30 minutes. Still struggling to break through. Kind of want that, though. Build some liquidity. Yeah, Nvidia's just not showing the best stuff and curled down on a daily, so that's why I haven't been paying attention to it. But yeah, we covered it a bit ago if you want to go find it, but there's just not a lot going on there. Nvidia was more an example of pay attention to the risk of the weekly expected move upside, and then that dropped like a rock. Get some good money, right? GKL. Yeah, the only risk I see as far as it goes, as far as PPI being a trap, it's if it holds good structure, if this 30-minute never curls down, it's probably not a trap. The only thing I could point out that says, hey, we could see some sort of selling, since you're talking about a trap, maybe some selling, is this signal right here. It's just volatility on the 30-minute. Volatility on the 30-minute is saying, hey, I can make an upward move here. Does that have to be some kind of massive drop? you just got pretty good PPI data. So that could just be, hey, the SPY goes down for a bit of time and then curls up, or the SPY goes down for the double dip to get it on the MACD and RSI at the same time. Because right now you just mainly have it on the RSI down there. So that's the only thing I see. I don't know. No idea. I have no idea. I just look at signals and I go, okay, well, if here's how you look at it, SH33. Here's how you think about it. Okay, so if that news of a ceasefire comes out and you see a bar like this, a big green bar, maybe on the next one, maybe a big green bar, maybe it comes out in an hour and you see a big green bar like this, and then that bar closes and this is crossed up and this is almost crossed the center line. Do you think that a good reaction is going to come from that news or just this week in general? Probably, right? You're going, yeah, all these things are crawling up. Okay, awesome. Right? I'm just saying, you can sit there and you can read news, you can be on the wire, you can look at news all the time, or you can realize that somebody already has been buying stocks in these areas before the news. Somebody is going to maybe put a big order in to cross this up, and then the next day you're going to hear all about it in the news, and the stocks are already going to be up here or something like that, right? It's like if we see CPI and we see big orders of shorts coming in here, it's like, okay, well, someone already knew that that reading was going to come in pretty bad if it's Wall Street doing it. So I just look at this. I go, if something good is going to happen in the world, someone with more money than me probably knows before me and will risk their money, right? And then I can see that. I can see that in the price action. That's why I pay attention to momentum. I care more about price action than reading one bit of news. It's like this right here. Okay, say I wasn't paying attention to, what was it? Jerome Powell, or was that Jerome Powell at this point? I can't remember. Maybe it was Data. I think it might have been Data. I don't remember. But, okay, if I was not paying attention to any kind of news here, and I'm just being a diligent trader, and I'm like, okay, I'm looking for that 15-minute to curl back up. That's all I was doing in this area. It rejects and goes negative. What would I do initially, right away, if that rejects and goes negative? I would get out of all of my long positions. And guess what? I probably didn't have to look at any news to do that. I can just look at the price action and go, that's an obvious rejection. I'm out. And then if that would base out in some way later on, maybe I'll get back in. It's just, you don't, once you really get into the nitty gritty of it, once you really have been doing it for a long time, you can, you pay attention to news because you read into it more. You can read into the signals more at that point. You're very comfortable with it. But for me, it's like, I could probably not look at one bit of news and be perfectly fine. As long as I know when earnings are showing up. Like you could tell me if I knew the dates where the news was going to come out, I'm fine. Yeah, the big drop was JP. Yeah, so JP, it's like you got a rejection on the 15-minute, and that was a serious rejection. If that doesn't convince you to make a move, I don't know what will. Amazon downward gap fill could begin, right? It could. We're still seeing this from volatility. Starting to turn green here. If you want to make it nicer for yourself, 15-minute. Look at that. Still there. You can obviously go fill gaps and stuff like that. People are still bearish. Don't think just one piece of data is going to make them super bullish or super bearish still, right? I think they're very excited to get bearish. I think if that news was bad this morning, it would have been a bad reaction. I think you probably would have ended up to a weekly expected move downside today. But CPI, people don't have hope for CPI, I think, still. Down here, they didn't have hope. Now the PPI is giving them some hope. But we'll see. There is a reversal signal for VIX, which means some selling can come in. Do I think it's going to be dramatic? I mean, I don't know what would cause it to be dramatic at this point, so I don't think so. I just got into options after 3 years of only normally spot buys. Do you have any do's, don'ts, or tips? There's a bunch of them. We talk about a bunch of them in the course down there, but One of them that we pointed out today, let's just point out this one today. You talked about Nvidia. So why would I, even on this green bar, why there's a rule that I like to say, and it's very good for Nvidia because it's very close to the center line. If a daily MACD is crossing down, I'm never taking a call in any way, no matter what the setup looks like down here. Now, Nvidia didn't have a setup, but we thought a reaction could come. So what we were saying was, hey, this crossed down on a daily. So it does not matter what this 30-minute looks like. I'm not taking a play on Nvidia because daily momentum is stronger. Now, the other thing that adds to that and really warns you about this is the fact that you're really close to the center line, which tells us what? This actually has some high probabilities to go test these lows. So what's happening right now? Well, you saw the upward move to retest the 5. You're rejecting pretty damn hard. And if this 30-minute crosses down, where would it go to? Probably 127.74 or 125. So you see how that's just one of my rules. Just a simple rule of mine is, hey, if a daily MACD has curled down, I'm not taking calls. And that's it. Another one, yeah, Carlos knows that as well. Like, really pay attention to your position sizing, right? Your position sizing. Even from the get-go, right? We talk about if you have $10,000, how much of that should you dedicate to options? $10,000? Shit, man. You are risking all of your money on the first play. Whew. I don't know. You probably can make plenty of money just by doing little $1,000 here and there, right? Smoothing, I believe, is the 9 smoothing. Would you not take a call if weekly momentum is red? No, that's different. Okay, so the reason that weekly is very different, we can use the Qs, right? The reason the weekly is very different is because the week has 5 days in it, right? So if I'm a short, this is more like if I'm a short-term trader, right? If I'm a short-term trader and I see a great signal right here, and let's say the 5 and the 9 are up in these areas, well, we could likely see a bounce early on in the week. If I see structure and I have a weekly expected move, that's very helpful. If I see structure down here, I can catch that bounce if it's a volatile market. You know, I do those type of things, right? The weekly crosses down, okay, maybe that's going to get this wick up and then come back down again, right? To create some kind of lower high. So I will do some plays like that. Now, I will say on the initial one, I usually make sure that this has like great signals, right? I'm not just taking it willy-nilly, right? So that's why it's Amazon was actually a great play. Why? Amazon is still looking good. Why? It hasn't confirmed down on the weekly. So that's where it goes like this as well. If a stock turns down on a weekly and I see a setup, I'm probably going to look at other stocks first to make sure there's not a setup with that momentum not confirmed down. Does that make sense? You know, like, do you get it? It's kind of like if Apple is curled down on the weekly and has a good setup, but if Amazon is not curled down on the weekly and has a good setup, which one am I more inclined to take? Well, I want the one without telling me anything bearish, right? It's not curled down on the weekly, so I'm just going to be like, okay, I probably would rather take the Amazon one. It's still like really saying, hey, I'm still positive, I'm still positive. Yeah. So that's something you can do, Adrian, and you won't run into it as much, right? You won't run, you'll see, oh, Apple curled down on the daily. Well, what did Tesla do? Oh, Tesla hasn't curled down on a daily. And it's actually got some room to a weekly expected move this week and a reversal signal. See, once you start to pile it up, you pile up those reasons, you start to formulate a plan, things get pretty fun. Okay, good. Yeah, Adrian. But yeah, weekly, you can see those interweek bounces. There's a lot more time there where you can see a bounce. So a bounce within a weekly bar makes sense. A bounce within a daily makes sense for someone who's maybe a day trader, scalping and things like that. But I don't like to do those things. Exactly, Onda. SPY and the Dow just flew. God dang it, we're talking about some crazy stuff. Let's see. I wouldn't say they're flying. So, man. Sorry, had to do it. Yeah, 2 hour maybe crosses up, right? We're looking for this to pile up here. This is good. I think you're gonna, I think you're I think this gap is way too close not to fill it. I think that's that would be a little bit crazy though. But I mean, you're probably gonna have people calling out possible island reversal actually. I just think that gap's so close that seeing some kind of move like dit would be, it would make a lot of sense. Let's put it that way. Apple, come on, girl, get up there, girl. And volatility, I'm gonna watch that 30-minute signal. You are giving up that 30-minute signal right away. You got 24 minutes left in the bar. We'll see what happens. Why don't you like day trading? There's just too much that can happen. So with day trading, like, and I'm not going to talk about the rigged or manipulation. The way that I would more so nowadays talk about manipulation, because I realize people need to understand. A lot of things take money in the market. And so the more money you have, the more power over the market you technically have. So this would be this. If I have this move right now and I'm targeting the daily expected move, well, I want to have time for that option to get there, because I don't know what someone with a lot more money than me is going to do right here. Maybe they are going to sell a lot of things or short a lot of things to push it down to get something cheaper later on, right? So I want time to be able to react to that. And if I say, hey, this has to hit that red line by the end of the day, okay, awesome. Well, if this happens, all that has to happen is that, and that pretty much that option is almost gone. But if I do this instead, I say, hey, this is curling up. I'm going to take this for the next 2 weeks to potentially hit that red line, or at least a price point of something like 590, right? I don't have to just do this. Or maybe I target a weekly expected move, all those examples. Well, now if this turns up, this turns down, I can manage risk if I want to and not lose a bunch of money. I can do this, I can hold it. Maybe if it makes a bigger dip or a higher low, I can still hold through that, and then over time it ends up there. And if it happened within 3 days, awesome, my target is reached, right? It's a way to give yourself a more relaxing way to trade, honestly. It's a way to be like, hey, just in case one guy wants to do something funky, one guy with a bunch of money, and we have say we have low volume too. It's like then whoever comes in with big volume can really affect stocks. We enter. We could look. You know, you wanted Nvidia, right? We could look at the Nvidia play. Where was the Nvidia play back here? Because Nvidia gave a great bottoming out signal. I think it was here. Yep. Might have been. It was two. It was two back to back. So we have almost three, I think it was 3 Nvidia plays. One here for short, one here for long, one here for long. Now the reason we were watching these very, very simply was the 30-minute, right? If we look at the 30-minute, we don't really see divergence here, but where do we see it? We see it here. So this is where I decided to go long. Then I just pull up a two hour chart here, and I see it's on the 2 hour as well. So now I know, okay, now I can hold if that's a 2 hours crossing. 2 hour crosses up, fantastic. So 30-minute divergence leads me to buy. 2 hour confirms next, and I sit there and I watch the thing, and look at that. Now, that was an overall squeeze, but that was a good play, right? That was one of our good ones. I did not take a play in here. I did not take a play in here. Kind of wish I did, but you do have a bunch of 30-minute weakness in here, okay? But I didn't take it. That just curled down on a 2 hour way over here and never curled back up, fell down. But this is where we had a monthly expected move, right? We had a monthly expected move right here, I believe. And that's where we said the risk is that this falls from this level, right? So we're using our brains. We're thinking the whole time of the risk. Then we see a dramatic drop, and I just go, ooh, I ain't watching that for a little bit. Now, this one was another one that I got out of in these areas because of a weekly expected move, I believe. But the 30-minute divergence is what we were paying attention to in that area. Okay, so if you look at this area here, what are you going to see? A very extended 30-minute. And the reason that I really liked this play was because literally 30-minute divergence on the MACD, on the RSI at the same time, right? Let me turn that up so you can see it's upward on the RSI. And we go, okay, bam, right there. Right here said go. So that would be at 103.50, let's say. What never happened on this 30-minute? It never curled back down. That's why this is so good. I started to take profit earlier times and later, but I like to take profit on strong moves on the way up. But great trades. Great trades. And that's it. Nvidia is a great example just because those were some of the best and most obvious plays, and they were like, we got like 4 of those opportunities over the last, I think it was 5 now, 5 opportunities over the last 6 months, and every single one played out. But we used Nvidia, and this is where people thought it was crazy. People thought the crash was happening here. But we used Nvidia. We used Nvidia because if you look at this point, August 5th, I think it was the SPY was like falling off a cliff, right? But this is where we said, but why is Nvidia showing great reversal signals? Sorry. Why is Nvidia showing great reversal signals? Be careful. That's what we said around these areas. What was the position like? Those were, I'd have to look, but usually how I like to do things is 2-hour play, I take a month. So 2-hour play here, take a month, okay? Or say anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks works, but I like to do 4 weeks out. And then we hold that thing. Once it gains enough value, you know, I don't know exactly where I took profit, but it's probably in these areas. I just can't think back that far. And then this one here was just a 30-minute. So most likely this was a 2-hour play, or sorry, 2-week play. And then that just saw upside quickly. I was expecting this to maybe make a divergence actually. So that's why I took profit pretty quickly on that one. But yeah, so 30-minute divergence, I like 2-week plays. 2-hour divergence, I like a month out. It gives time for that daily chart to curl up. Volatility is starting to try to turn a little bit here. Uh-oh, we're kind of unconfirming, confirming, unconfirming, confirming. So volatility, very choppy. As in, what's the profit on a trade like that? The first one's going to be more. 2-hour divergence, you can make more. And then with that 2-hour, I think that was the time where it was like 300% in a couple of days. The 30-minute one, I'm pretty sure it was a take profit at about 75% gain on the position. I wanted to take it early. I remember being worried about the 2-hour crossing down to make a 2-hour divergence. Snow? You want to look at snow real quick? Ooh, I wish you got that to cross up before. Dang it. But good, it's taking that 164.91. Ooh, rejection. Rejection on the 2-hour for the potential higher low. Very, very cool. No reversals either, really. No reversals. See how you don't have to have reversals if a stock can make those higher lows. If that continues, this could be good. Where do you run into problems? Right now, look in this area. Really want to pull a box across. If you want to, this is probably more helpful actually for this one. Look at those lows. You grab there, you'd say anything in this is resistance. So if you break through that, you retest, you can end to the upside. So what you're hoping for really is a reaction to like here, something like 173. You break through, you retest for a minute, then you end up to the upside. You get all the way up there. That'd be nice. Snow doesn't look bad though. Let's look at a daily chart. Daily chart curls up. Hey, you're testing this high. You're going to make a new one is the most likely thing. Manage risk in between, right? Manage your trade. I don't stick the two together, Adrian. Right? So here's something that you could look up right now. Mutually exclusive. Type what does mutually exclusive mean? So what mutually exclusive means is, let's do this. Let me see if I can find an app. We can have a little probabilities lesson here. All right, so everyone in chat, we're gonna have fun for a second. I know we want to pay attention to stocks. We're gonna be we'll do this a little bit smaller maybe. All right, and we're gonna put the SPY up on this chart real quick. We're gonna do a little lesson here. You guys ready? You guys ready to learn some probability stuff? All right, we have a coin. We have a coin right here. Heads and tails. All right, so everyone pick one. J2 to money. Thank you so much for subscribing. Everyone pick one. Put tails, heads, put tails, heads, put tails, heads, put tails, heads in the chat. Let me pull this over so we can see it a little bit better, so we can pay attention to the market as well. Let's zoom in on that so you guys still see it. Heads, tails, tails, heads. 25% heads. Heads, tails, tails, heads. Let's go. All right, and we're going to flip in 3, 2, 1. Let's flip. Bam. Oh, it was heads. Everyone who said heads gets a cookie. Everyone who said tails, I'm sorry, this is Squid Games, you're done. Just kidding. Okay, now I have a question for you. So the first roll that we saw was heads. And I'm gonna actually do this all out. I'll do it all out for you guys. I'll pull up a spreadsheet and everything because this is fun. I love this stuff. Let's just add a thing here. You go. We don't have to do it all out, but first roll, what was it? Heads. Okay. 2, 3. All right. So now here's the question. So the first one was heads. So what is the probability first off of heads or tails? What is the probability first? Just no flips, no nothing. What is the probability of heads or tails? Spy good entry for calls. Look at that 2-hour chart. That's the best thing that I can do for you right now. We're just going through something. I will look at it in a moment, Logan. 50-50. Perfect. Now, you just saw the first one. So what is the probability of seeing heads or tails now? What is the probability of seeing heads or tails now? Still 50-50. Good job. So it's still 50-50. So what does that mean? That means that when I flip the coin, I'm doing an action. When I flip the coin the next time, I'm doing a completely separate action. Exactly. Independent events. Laughing Buddha's got it. So what we call that are mutually exclusive. It means that the first flip does not affect the second one. And that's why a lot of the time people will say, oh, it just hit. This is like roulette, guys. Everyone says black, black, black. Everyone says, oh, we just saw heads. We have to see tails. Oh, you happen to see tails. So the way that you can actually, and this is more towards roulette and stuff like that. I have strategies for roulette, actually. But the way you look at it is every single one is mutually exclusive. Every single one is separate from the other. The first one cannot affect the eighth one. The first one can't affect the eighth one. That's it. Logan, what I would tell you, that's pretty much it with mutually exclusive. That's it. And that's why in roulette, you can see black 14 times in a row. That's it. So the way that I like to play roulette is I walk to the table and I pick a pattern. I say, I'm going to do the thing where you, what's it called, where you multiply it by 2 on black or red every single time you lose. And I walk up and I say, I'm going to do this. This is when I go black or red. This is my strategy. I walk up to the table, I have my bankroll, and I say, for this bankroll, my strategy is to go for the first time, I'm going to go black, black, red, red, black, black. I come to the table with a pattern because the probability is different. If I have a bankroll to suffice a full pattern, the probability of me guessing the exact pattern that is going to come up on the roulette board at that point is 50% times 50% times 50% times 50% times 50% times 50%. So I walk up to the table with a 1% chance to lose. What is CPI data? That is the inflation, though. So that's the inflation reading that the Fed reads into the most. So PPI actually, Logan, came out pretty good today. So we're going to see what happens with CPI, but we are at a point where we are making some sort of base. Yeah, consumer price index. There you go. Now, the way that gets ruined is the greens, right? The zeros and the double zeros. But that's what I like to do. I like to walk up. I pick a pattern. It could be any pattern I want. And then I do that. Exactly. So do 50% times 50% 6 times. Exactly. But you still have to take into consideration, that's if you're betting the pattern. right? If you sit there and you wait for the pattern to show up in front of you, say you're waiting for 3 black in a row, you didn't make the money on the 3 black in a row. You didn't lose the money on the 3 black in a row for that probability to be with you. You're technically going in with the 50-50 play because you didn't play the first 3 spins. Exactly, Willow. That's because people walk up, they read into it, and they don't realize they didn't put money behind any of that. You're better off going with a pattern. Some people do, you can go look it up. I think one guy, he did a pattern of black, red, black, 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 red, or red, black, red, red. And he did that over and over and over again, and he made a ton of money. Exactly, Willow. So what I'm talking about is having a bankroll, and I'm not saying I'm playing 1 roll. I'm saying I have enough bankroll to play 10 rolls, and I have a sequence that I'm going to play. So in order for me to be completely wrong, I would have to guess the entire pattern correctly, right? If I guess the entire pattern technically incorrectly at any point, I make money. That's it. But it's hard. You have to have pretty good bankrolls and things like that because you're probably only making like $10 a play. You know what I mean? So yeah, exactly, Anda. That's the point. So if you guess the pattern and you're wrong, you make money. If you guess the pattern 100% right, and I say it's going to be black the next 5 times, and it pops up and it's black 5 times, then the pattern was wrong. But the percentage of me getting that wrong is like 2%. But I did that. I did it. I told my wife what to do. She went to Vegas with her friend. I gave her a simple strategy. She went and did the strategy. She walked in with $40. She walked out with $140, and she was like, oh, that's all I want. Yeah, I like to play the, so my main strategy I haven't gambled in a long time, but the 1, 2, 3, the first columns or whatever, the small numbers, medium numbers, big numbers, and then I have a strategy around that. And it's with the same type of thing though. I pick patterns. The reason I do that is I risk more money, but the percentage is with me a lot of the time. So I give myself like a 62% chance to win on every single roll. All right, I gotta use the restroom and then I'm coming back. All right, guys, be right back. 2 seconds. Sorry, I just had some fun with that for a second. Thanks for letting me do that. I have fun talking about probabilities. I'll be right back. Oh gosh. All right, we're back. You guys forgot to hit the like button. Thanks, Muja. I've heard of Romanovsky. Another one I was playing with roulette was thinking of it in a different way. Willow, let me know. Let me know what you think about this. The Dow just dropped 100. Yeah, we still have that volatility signal, and that's confirming. So this is your potential pullback or another drop signal, right? So we should see weakness now. But we were leaning towards what? Right, left head, right shoulder. So we got to see if that volatility signal lasts. That could shoot you down to a daily expected move. People could get bearish again, right? Maybe people got too bullish too fast. We'll see. I'll tell you another one. I want Willow. Willow, I want you to think about this. So what I was thinking was the best strategy for the lowest amount of money was picking, say if your minimum is $10, right? $10. Well, then technically you have to play at least $10 on the numbers if you want to play the numbers. So what I was doing was picking 10 numbers along one side of the board, right? So let's just say you know, the board looks like this, I'm gonna play these 10 numbers. And then I would sit there and I could play low amounts of money. And then I would look and I could go, okay. Another thing was I was paying attention to the person who was rolling. And I was looking at the number that they were throwing the ball on and the numbers where it most likely would land. And if they were hitting a consistent area. And then what I was doing was betting those 10 numbers. It actually worked pretty well. It worked all right. It was a lot to pay attention to. I left and the market started to tank. I'm sorry about that, guys. I'll get back in there. Let me go look at AMC and GME real quick. Yeah, those are going to go up now because I'm staring at them. Look at that. This is why we pay attention. You know, I was watching all the YouTubers last night tell you that this was still a good thing. And I was like, you have a bad signal, though. They're only telling you one side. It is a good thing. It's still holding up, but now you're taking out this low, and that's going to start potentially being a very bad thing. We could go test 28.35 now. So I'm sorry, I'm not someone who's gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it and be like, yes, this is always gonna go up, therefore buy my Discord. It's just not my thing. I don't really care. I'm gonna tell you how it is, no matter what. If you like someone who just tells you how it is, and if you ever think I'm not, hey, call me out on it in the chat. Please do. Please do. You're better off playing the whole section. Yeah, I was trying to figure out bankroll and stuff with it. I remember testing it and just being like, oh, God, dang it. I just, you know what's really hard is remembering what numbers are in a row. Yeah, that's what I do. My main strategy is that, Willow. Yeah, my main strategy is that. I pick a pattern. I still pick a pattern with it. Before I walk up to the table, I just say, okay, let's see, could I guess the exact 5 pattern here? How big's my bankroll? Okay, I have 5. Okay, so I can multiply 5 times. Okay, awesome. And then I just do that. Still in the Apple position? Yep, I'm chilling. Like I said, because I feel like Apple could make the move up, but Apple could cross down. I could manage risk if I would like to, right? But is this a large position? No, I've been making smaller positions all throughout. So this is literally 250 bucks. It might be around 300 with the pricing. Like 1 or 2 contracts, I think. Maybe just, it might be more than 300. It's 3. Okay, I gotta click into it because it did lose some value, so now I gotta click into it. 1 sec here. It's about 320. It's worth about 320 now. The total position, 320. So am I worried about losing 320? Not necessarily. I'm more interested in, hey, are they going to do some funky stuff and turn this thing back up? So I'm ready to reload another position to double it in here, if that would happen. And that's for February 7th. So almost 4 weeks, right? 3 weeks? 3.5? Ooh. Exactly, Chad. That's why I'm chilling. I'm like, I could look at this 15 minutes, see if that crosses. I could manage risk if I want. It's just I don't have a ton of money risked here, so I just want to see what happens. I just want to see if it just does this maybe, and then I can maybe take a few more contracts. Yeah, that's the whole point, martial law. It's just try to be helpful, be your buddy that you can bounce off of, right? Don't you wish you had that? I'm sure some of you guys have that buddy who probably trades just like you do. And you might ask questions back and forth, go back and forth on things, look at a chart, do something like that, show them a suggestion. That's kind of all I'm trying to be. And then if you ask a question, hey, I'll try to answer that. If you want to learn, hey, we'll try to get that for you. Any bad news today since the SPY just fell hard? Good morning, everyone. No. No real bad news. You're just in an environment here. Okay, the environment is still, I want to hit the sell button. We like your approach. Good, Greg. I'm glad you do. It took a while to formulate that. You know, it took a little while, but for the most part, before I even started the channel, I was like, hey, let's put my opinion out there. And if I can be helpful to some people, that's the goal. And then once we started to get more and more retail people, more and more mainly like the AMC and GME people really pushed me like, hey, try to be just as helpful as possible. Help these people understand what's going on, how these things move. We're not going to be right all the time, but if we really focus on managing risk, paying attention to both sides, and then when to take actual opportunity, we'll be just fine. But thank you guys for saying that. I really do appreciate it. We notice here, no 30-minute cross down. Now the 30-minute crosses down on some stuff, right? Apple starts to curl down on a 30-minute. That might scare me out, right? This going like this, yeah, I'm not sure that would be like, oh yeah, this is great. I'm saying, hey, if the 15-minute can hold up well and turn back up before this crosses down, I'll be all right. But half of me is going, okay, there's a weekly expected move here. So, you know, I'm just displaying how I'm thinking right now with my overall trade because I keep looking at it on the left side of my screen. My thought is this, well, a weekly expected move is here and we held up there. But if we get bad CPI, is CPI going to push us down and then be able to turn back up? Is that going to be a trick in some way? And I'm going to see a divergence down here, like on both the MACD and RSI. So would I be okay to hold that position and then just get in again at the low? Or possibly if I see a little 5-minute structure at the low or the 30-minute curl up? That's kind of how my brain's functioning right now. And then the other side of my brain, the managed risk side, just says, hey, well, if that 30-minute crosses down, it doesn't have to hold up at this level. This is not a 100% area. This is 32. This is 60. So if that actually drops like this, it could just fall through the floor. It could end out here and not make any of that. So the management of risk side, once you say that out loud, it makes more sense to my brain. So if the 30-minute crosses here, I'll probably be out. Then if it does this, I'll be back in. And that's how I think about it. And then on this, I can feel more confident because it's on both indicators. So then I'll put more than $350, $320 behind this. But the good part is I'm not going to lose a ton of value on this if this turns down because I have a longer outdated option all the way into February. Ooh, just bought a bunch of TLT calls. I like the balls on those calls. You're seeing a lot of reversal signals on shorter time frames from TLT. You're seeing a reversal signal here actually for the 2-hour that has not confirmed yet. And you get big data tomorrow, so that takes some balls, right? I've been thinking about putting in my TLT investment again, but I just don't see the major signals to convince me of that. But I'm also just looking like, hey, CPI's tomorrow, so this can be affected by that. I really think it's going to end up being good for the market, but unfortunately, I can't put money behind I thinks. Unlucky. Can't do it. Because there's a lot of times I think something's going to happen, and it just doesn't. Because something curls down. So I'm glad that I've gotten away from that. That was a big problem of mine when I really first started doing options. I kept going, oh, this really looks like it's going to turn up. It really looks like it's going to turn up. And that's when I would make the decision. Now I go, oh, it really looks like it's going to turn up. Let me make sure it does. And then I make the decision. A lot different. A lot different. Hey, 240 people in here. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. If you are new here or anything like that, hey, say hi in the chat, right? If it's your first time, if you're lurking, you know, say hi. Even if you just want to say, hey, I'm lurking, like Luke does. Where's lurking Luke at? Make Luke a trillionaire, dude. If somehow my YouTube made me a trillionaire, I would give that all back in some way, somehow. I'd make a Luke ETF that pays dividends. And we're going to call it Luke. L-U-K-E. You looking for that present, huh, Luke? Thoughts on the SPX? Well, we're looking at the SPY right now, and it's going to be very similar. SPX, I think, trades a little bit, like 15 or maybe like an hour extra or something like that. I don't remember. But for this, it's going to look very, very similar. What'd you have here before the bounce? Divergence. What'd you have down here at the low before this bounce? Divergence. What could you make what could you do to make this signal better? Weirdly enough, on the SPX, it's very flat. You actually have it kind of on the SPX. Maybe something we could do is go look at this. Go look at this. It's not there on the 2 hour. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. So when you look at the SPX 500, you're going, look at that 2 hour. That does not look pretty. That could head down, and then we could see something good, maybe, right? We want to be ready to react, but realize this turning down would be bad. If I get a 2 hour confirmation down, I'm probably out of my Apple calls. I'm probably out of all the calls. Amazon, this one here, starting to turn down. Once again, just looking if those 30 minutes need to reload in some way. Right, just looking for those 30 minutes. We're gap filling, see what happens. If this crosses, I'll probably be out for a moment. Be ready to get back in with a little bit bigger position. Apple still hasn't done anything. The only problem I have right now with something like Nvidia, since you are asking, Daniel, is the signals aren't very good. Now, you are getting this final touchdown here, so this would be a good sign if the 15-minute could go positive. That would be a good sign. That's the only thing I can really see right now from Nvidia. Lurker here, hello, wondering what you think of entry point for Grab. We will look at Grab for you then. Thank you for saying hi. Dollar getting weaker, thank you for pointing it out. Ooh, dollar getting weaker as the market goes down. Finally, we see the SPY going down and the dollar going down at the same time. That is the rigged behavior we're looking for. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, this makes me comfortable holding things, actually. So when the dollar's going down, that means people are going out of cash. What are they going into? Well, did we see a big reaction from TLT? No. Could we see a reaction from TLT? Yes. Awesome. We're seeing that reaction. Who the heck just pointed out they were buying TLT? Who the heck pointed out? Was it Dave? Hey, Dave, you're liking this, right? You like this. Still got to see that 2 hour curl up. But yeah, Nvidia, for the most part, it's just not the best signals. You're looking for a rejection here. You're looking for a rejection here in some way. That dollar coming down, you're glad that someone in the chat pointed it out. That's why we're a community. Thank you so much, Tom, for bringing up that the dollar is getting weaker, that we can read into that. We want to see if that changes with data tomorrow, but that is suggesting that someone big out there might actually be buying. I mean, the dollar is moving down a little bit rapidly here. The daily is starting to look pretty red, closing below yesterday's low. We'll see if we can fight through this, but curl down on this MACD. That'd be a big signal. So for Nvidia, it's just the reason I'm not too adamant on it is because the daily's curled down and you don't have the best reversal signals. There are better opportunities. There are better opportunities, in my opinion. Even Microsoft, right? Even Microsoft showing that opportunity. You might have to manage risk soon, right? It's not on the MACD. It's not on the RSI on this one right here. You do have 2 hour across, so we're looking for that potential. We are looking for this double bottom this week. Thank you, Secure Opening. Wait, now you asked about, who just asked about Grab? Let's go. I don't know if I've looked at Grab before. Immediately, I don't like the look of the chart. Okay, the reason, I'm going to tell you the reason I don't like the look of the chart. And it's because of this right here. You're probably going to see, even if you get an uptrend move, you could see another one down. You could see another leg down here. And the reason for that is, look at this, right? It's looking like that. Then we taper off a little bit, right? We come this way. Okay, awesome. Now what do you see? 2 hour divergence on the MACD and RSI. That went up and it failed. Look how it failed. This is why we pay attention to the risk. It's in negative territory. It was not able to turn up. Did the daily cross up? Daily did not confirm up, so you should be aware that that curling back down is a bad thing. And you might look at a 30-minute chart and say, hey, is that by the center line in some way? Is that crossing through the center line? Okay, don't want to be long on this anymore. So the reason I don't like it is because notice the tapering we had. If I can, let me just do a straight line because I'm you know, awful at it. My wife's the artist. We talk about these things. You got rid of the tapering. So that's a bad thing. Now you're just dropping and you have no reversal in sight for this 2 hour chart. Now you look into a 30-minute and you go, okay, we're starting to make these bumps. We're starting to make these divergences. The only problem is if this is going to behave like it is still right now, you could see that 2 hour cross up, retest something, and then drop again. And then that next leg lower is what I'd look for. You're looking for another signal like this to create that positivity, right? So you could end up seeing this fail and then create some kind of divergence right here. And that's what I'd really like to see. Now, you don't have to do that. You just want a big move from this 2 hour right off the gate. So if I was trading this and I look at this 30-minute one, very negative trend, very skeptical to trade, but we did just fill this gap. What was that? It was a breakout area. Okay, awesome. Now I have 30-minute divergence. Is that confirming in any way yet? No, so I have nothing to react to. If the 30-minute does confirm that back up and go positive here, you can see a good move maybe to fill this gap. You can see a good move maybe to 470. And if you're able to take that back and create that series of higher lows, awesome. But if you don't, you reject, you could see that 2 hour move back down. IonQ is another one that I really enjoy, but we were always looking at IonQ like, holy crap, look at this thing on the daily scale. It has divergence all across this RSI. All right, at some point, guys, at some point when you start to see this down, starting to get to where it's not even getting overbought for these divergences, you gotta start to be like, okay, yeah, this is another move up, the 2 hour curled up. We can keep playing those curl ups, but it's kind of like this. Is the opportunity better for these levels or these levels here? Is the risk to reward better here? Yes. Right? You would say maybe risk reward if you have monthly expected moves or something like that, right? So what we would look for here is now you're seeing all the divergences start to pop up. The rewards are getting smaller. One more move up. Damn, that's off. So that's all I would say as far as IonQ. You can make money all throughout this, so make your damn money at some point. And the 2 hour actually confirmed divergence here. You saw another curl up. Isn't that pretty crazy? You even violated the points on the RSI except for the main one. And that's why we pay attention to the main one, right? Now, this curled down on the gap, so that's very unfortunate. You had one little tiny closing right there. This is why the signal line can help a little bit at the time. You need reasons to give yourself multiple reasons to take profit. That's what I do. But that's why I use weekly expected moves. My gut feeling sometimes is just a reason I take profit. Oh, we hit a resistance level here. Okay, well, anything above that, I take profit, right? Multiple reasons to take profit aren't bad. It will encourage you to not remain in something that is skying up for weeks and weeks and weeks with a ton of divergences. Doesn't mean I can't play these little plays. I just have to be making sure to take profit every single time. So IonQ for now, what do you have? Well, you have a daily really close to the center line. Do you have any reversal signals popping up? Looks like you're trying to make some kind of floor. Is that some kind of cup and handle that's going to come? Right? Or is this going to be able to take back the 5? So I think really what you want here is a 2 hour to curl up, and then you could potentially make a base. But we were always pointing towards during this move, right around these areas, even with this drop, and then it curled back up. Right around here, people were asking me about it. And I said right here, 2157. Eventually, you're going to go test 2157. So the 30-minute chart would say, hey, if that can curl down to 2157, maybe an hourly chart's a little bit better here. Not really. The 30-minute here would be what I'm watching. See if it comes down to those levels. See what structure looks like here. See if you get reactions. And then the other thing would just be, hey, does the 2 hour confirm up? I can probably see a move to where? Somewhere in here, right? Somewhere in here, there is something going on. Somewhere in here it was going to hold up. So something in here became resistance. I'd be leaning towards that 40-50. Answering the opposite, kids. That's so great, Lurkin Luke. Oh, that's so great. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, God, that's so great. Yeah, tell that to my friends. We just went to a baby shower. I'm super happy for them. But they did not expect it at all. Kind of like us, we didn't expect it. We were on our way to move to Florida, and then we had to turn our ass around. You threw some on bonk. Hey, I respect it. I respect it. All right, I respect the play. Yeah, dollar's still dropping. We'll see. If I'm aware, it's at the 5, right? Yeah, it's at the 5. So this is where we can see some stuff. I don't read into a 30-minute for the dollar, but you do have 30-minute divergence. I'd more so just be looking, hey, the 2-hour doesn't really have reversal signals at this moment. It does have them if you look all the way across, but you have this big blip in here. So I don't know if you'd count that. It means to me the dollar could make this one more move up, just continue the trend, right? Anytime that this curls up, kind of like IonQ, right? It doesn't matter how many times you want to do it. If the 2-hour always curls up into positive territory, what are you going to do? You're always going to see that move. Always, right? Until that fails and really breaks down and creates that low, you probably got to break through this. This is the very important level for the dollar if you want to see a bigger trend move up. I think the dollar's got to break through here. Very cool. Very cool, very new, very cool, very fresh. Oh, what's a good Wayne's World quote for stocks? I feel like there's tons of stuff on Wayne's World. Oh, denied, right? Rejection. Oh, denied. No stairway. Rusky, just make sure you're putting out a ticker, right? Tickers just make it easier for me, guys, just so you're aware. And you can tell me what you're looking at, right? Tell me the time frame you're really focused on as well. Same with you, US Mobile, right? I got the ticker. What are you really looking at for that? Yeah, dude. NEM. All right, let's go look at it. And then we'll look at yours, all right? US Mobile, I got you. So for this one here, 30-minute move higher, violating a divergence point, I believe. Ooh, coming kind of even, but violating slightly. So what are you going to be aware of? Well, you're aware if the 30-minute crosses down. The reason you're still aware of that crossing down is just in case something bad happens. Right now, the 30-minute crossed up on a positive bar. I know it's red, but that's a positive bar. That's plus 49%. Boom to the upside. You got a weekly expected move that would help you out. But just notice the MACD is getting closer to the center line with every push. Okay? So it doesn't mean this is bad. This is very bullish right now. I'm talking about how the risk could be there. That's first. Because you could be seeing this in some way. You could retest the 5, then turn up. The 2-hour here has been going for some time. You just kind of broke through. You got the retest. So this could go higher. You're starting to run into where it could go higher, right? I'd really be paying attention to the gaps. Now I'm going to tell you the reason that I would really pay attention to the gaps, okay? So I'm going to put a line right here. I'm going to put a line right here. Pink. Now, why would I be paying attention to that? Well, because that price is very important. We see a gap. We see a gap. We see a gap. All in there. So what do you think is a very important level? Probably here. So where do you think resistance could come in? Probably somewhere around this line. So that's what I'm going to watch for. Because TikTok's not getting banned now. I'm interested in Meta. Meta did actually break through though, so that could mean testing these lows, going to make new ones. And Snap as well. Someone brought up Snap, and Snap looked pretty cool. Oh, Snap looked, yeah. And then you get a 30-minute divergence, and the 2-hour turns down. So you see again, we see another. Do you think at this point, if you've been a part of this channel for a short period of time now, I'm sure if you're here for a long time, you're noticing you find a lot of signals all the time, right? Things don't randomly move like people want, right? There's always a signal to explain what's going on. And if you can understand how things move, you can understand how things can need management of risk and things like that. You'll really start to understand this better. Notice once again, big ass divergence, okay? This is a massive one. This is a massive one. So I probably could have told you, hey, this is very likely to drop. This is very likely to see a 2-hour cross down. 2-hour has divergence as well, which tells us what? Hey, high likelihood the daily could cross. What does that mean for this? For Snap? I would watch out if that daily crosses because you're closer to negative territory now. All right, you're closer to negative territory, meaning you can break through this. You can break that. You can start ended up down here again. Now, if you hold up in here, right, even if this crosses, you can hold up in here. It's just I'm not going to take calls on it, even if it has good structure. It's just one of my rules. I'm not going to do it. What else could be going on? Well, you've got a reaction to here. So the bullish side would say, hey, maybe this is just a cup with a handle, and that's going to turn back up. So we'd be looking for the 2-hour to curl back up into positive territory. That'd be 1. 30 minutes pretty deep. So in order to make a base, well, we're going to pay attention. We're going to see if you get a reaction, maybe to fill a gap or something. React up to here, break down, obvious, with the gap. And then maybe you react down again and you're able to hold up. That would be a good scenario there. But very cool to see big. And the reason I'm saying like this is massive, because look how significant that is, man. Look how significant that is. It's just down. Look how significant this is. It's just down. So Google chart looking pretty bullish. Party time. Excellent. Oh man, great movies. I used to just watch that where they sing Queen in the car. I used to just watch that sometimes. It was so fun. Let's see here. Let's see here. Google. Yeah, someone's saying Google. That was it. Google, interesting. I know we were reading into the potential triangle going on here, but very interesting. I still think you're rejecting from that area. You see how our line is making a little bit of sense here, but really all you're doing, once again, you don't need these. You don't need this. You really don't. It helps you. If it helps you, then do it. But if not, you're going, okay, what are the important things? Well, right here is pretty important. And the breakdown area of the most recent area here. And we're seeing wicks to that area and we're seeing resistance. Does this have reversal signals? No. So if it wants to do this and it doesn't break through these levels confidently, right? Maybe we see wicks or something and that curls back up. That would look pretty good. I'd kind of like it. Now we're dipping down to those areas. If you dip down to those areas, would you make some kind of 2-hour divergence maybe? We'll see. It's just holding up really well. Very sideways. So at the end of the day, we're looking for a solid break on the daily below here, a solid break on the daily above here, and then you probably have your answer. Oh, yes, it was, Willow. That was a great part. DJT puts expiry of $40. You can see a snapback from DJT, so I understand. That's more of like a scalping-like play. Just be careful if you see another little like 15-minute curl up. All right, 15-minute curl up here can mean a lot. You're not seeing the reversal on the MACD and RSI. Now, 15 minutes do wild shit. But I would just be paying attention if that curls up for the management of the trade. But the 30-minute is crossing down, suggesting it has more time, which means a retest of the breakout, right? Retest the breakout would be fantastic. We talked about that with GME and it was good. Check out BABA. Yeah, we were talking about BABA a little bit yesterday. I believe BABA was more about daily charts if I'm... Yeah, okay. Daily charts, you do have some divergence forming here. Very sporadic moves. Kind of risky, right? Because you see pretty much that in there. Left head, right shoulder. This could keep dropping. It's pointing down right now. I'd really be looking for that daily to take that 200 back, and then we can see some good things. 2-hour not really giving you a hint of that. So there could be more time to build up in this area, right? We react up. Maybe we even curl up. Maybe we go test something like 83.90, then you curl back down. You see this. That'd be interesting. Or the daily might just curl up and you have divergence there. So actually pretty simple there for BABA. 30 minutes, just you might have more time in the shorter time frames to work this out. 30-minute, great move. Great gap, actually. Great gap because you gapped above where you would need consolidation. So if you can hold here and push through and keep this 30-minute going positive as it's trying to right now, if you can really push through, then you would be more just talking about, okay, pull back to test the 5, pull back to test the 5, pull back to test the 5, and you see if you can make those higher lows. Playing the sell the news after the inauguration. Hey, okay. Yeah, Shay, I appreciate you saying thanks. MSTR, really paying attention to Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's still positive with our 4-hour signal we were paying attention to, starting to look a little like the 2-hour might want to rotate down, but you've broken through, so you might get a little retest of 95.2K. If you can hold that, but the divergence here is very nice. You haven't gotten the daily to confirm. The big thing is, if Bitcoin goes up, MSTR goes up. If Bitcoin goes down, MSTR goes down. Looking at MSTR, it did have reversal signals. You did have potential here for the higher low on the 4-hour, I guess, but the 2-hour is what we mainly like to look at. If that 2-hour can print to the upside, hey, that would mean good things, but I would make sure that Bitcoin is doing it. I would make sure Bitcoin's looking good. So the key level here to break through, obviously you want to break through this. You kind of have a little zone in here that you're paying attention to. If you look at the breakdown area, notice where we went to, that little box in here, okay? Now, what did this do? Well, this did something that we talk about a lot, which is sometimes if you want to make good structure, but you get too excited, you go back to make that structure. So now we would have said this is going to react to here. Maybe you get that pullback. That would look pretty good. If this saw a bigger reaction, we'd talk about a retest of that area. But it didn't see a big reaction. So now it's just trying to go maybe make the right shoulder that could have been, right? The one that got away. And that 2 hour confirms up. You're liking it, right? You're saying, hey, that's positivity. And if we break through this level cleanly, maybe I'm even curling up a daily chart. Where's the daily chart? We didn't have reversal signals up here. So where's the daily chart? Right by that center line. I would definitely be aware, since this was a pretty good move and it all gave up, I would definitely be aware of lower highs though for something like MSTR. Bitcoin on the daily. See, Bitcoin on the daily, this is why I'm saying like this might extend past January, because if you go like this, if you see a strong move from Bitcoin and you take out this high, you might be violating the divergence points of that high, meaning you might see another 1, 2, 3 move higher, and then you want to watch out, which means that could leak into February. But we'll just see how stuff shakes up. Shakes up, shakes out. Yeah, you don't really know what the like with the system he uses. I don't think you see if those are big buys or big sells. But what you could really think about is Wall Street, if they're anything, they're not completely stupid, right? They're good at finding areas where people are very bearish and taking a play. It's just, was that for this? Did they already sell those positions? You know, that's what we want to look for, but I think you're looking for bigger orders to come in at the end of today if someone knows something. Calm down, Taylor Swift. Believe Roy Kitty was coming through with a gift are about to expire worthless unless something amazing happens soon. I think so. I think they do probably expire worth. According to the signals, this is really bad and you're going down to 28.35, right? We've been saying that for a few days. We've been saying that up in these areas. Then you get another point with the bad crossover. You get a 2 hour divergence, and now 28.35 is what I'm looking at. You have a big move for GME every week, so this can go lower than 28.35. You lose that, bad things. I think AMC is going for the gap fill. I think AMC is going for this gap fill. And then I'm probably going to buy some, honestly. Even though the chart looks like ass, I'm just going to buy little bits all the time. That's a very good price point, I think. We got rid of the reversal signal. That's unfortunate. But this is just something I buy a little bit of when it goes down really deep. And then if it actually makes a signal, that's when I take option plays. But option plays were, call side plays were literally the most risky thing to do right now. This is like, calls here was probably the last thing that a trader should be doing. Richard, off to lunch. All right, AMC at 0 is your best price point. Facts, Richard. Oh, Richard, that's funny. Hey, that's not bad, Willow. Maybe. Well, that's why what do we do, right? Short Fridays, what do? We look at the signals. Whether you like it or not, how things move, buying and selling. So if we see big buys, you're going to see a big green bar go up, and then you see if that triggers some good momentum, and you go, okay, that has momentum behind it. Right? This said momentum is dying here. Now momentum is dying here. Like, it's not surprising. But yeah, I think everyone gets excited for it at the exact, or at least everyone gets the most excited for it at the exact wrong time. Like every single time we see a reversal signal is when I'm getting the most messages saying like, hey, what do you think about GME right here? I'm like, yeah, I can if the 2 hour curls up. 2 hour never curled up and it went negative. So they just kind of ignore the bearish things. I think we did we look at MU yesterday? I think we looked at this yesterday. Really like the move so far. I really like that we went past this area here, the bottom of the zone. But you remember MU was just kind of stuck. It was stuck in this range. And what did we overall say? Well, potentially, you know, for a trader, they would look at buying down here with any type of signal, and then they would look at selling up in these type of levels with any type of signal. And what did we notice at the low? You got a signal. Great move, pops up, curls down. Does it have a reversal? No. So is this most likely a pullback? Yes. The only scary part is you kind of gapped below the zone, but you're going back in it. Pop up, retest, let's go. If this 2 hour curls up, good things. Maybe even an hourly chart. Yeah, even an hourly chart might make a decision. And then you just, if you're comfortable managing risk, that's where you can go down into the shorter time frame for that confirmation. You're getting that to confirm with your signal line on the RSI. So good stuff. You can really see that hourly divergence there, that 2 hour divergence we pointed out. You really see it on the hourly here. And that is very significant, so great move. Oh, hold on, guys. All right, guys, it turns out Abuela is here, so I have to hop off for the time being. I think we're aware of a lot of the risk out there. We're aware that these things can turn back down. We're aware that volatility gave us some kind of reversal signal here. It's just, it's not getting the most steam just yet, but this can turn up a 2 hour chart. So this is what I'd really be watching out for. But if we just see a 30-minute move up and that fails, it's something I'm more leaning towards, I think, at this time. But we'll see. We got to see if these things are done basing out on these 30-minute charts or if they're going to make a signal on both indicators at the same time. So thank you guys so much for watching today. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys for liking and subscribing. If you guys want to learn anything, right, if you want to learn, that course is down there in the description. I try not to mention it too often, but the sale is coming up to an end very soon, right, in the next couple of weeks. So just be looking out if you're interested in learning some of this stuff. That sale won't be back until next year. But thank you guys so much for your time today. I really appreciate you guys spending your valuable time with me. I think it was a lot of fun. And now we got to look if we got to manage any kind of risk or if these things are just going to turn back up. So hope you guys have a great one. Peace out. Bye, Oni. Bye, Mark. Bye, Natural Born Nerd. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. And I hope you guys have all the luck in the world with your trades. All right. Peace.